graphics.
No, I was like, I gotta start putting graphics into this or something like
the
that.
wands, we're all gonna go to the camera and turn it on.
Just change the camera.
Oh, that would be actually cool.
How incredible would that be? Like, I just have a wand and I go,
Ding.
Lumos, or something, and it just goes on.
I like this.
Figure it out.
Well, you got like a month to figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm so excited to be gone. No, not here. I didn't mean
Oh,
that.
come on, Jen.
So excited I'm gonna be gone.
We know what you meant.
I'm
We know what you
I'm
meant.
mostly-
I don't want to miss
Whatever.
the podcast.
I'm mostly thinking of work. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just so excited to be
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
And the month's gonna be crazy, and I'll have to deal with the crazy doctor. He retires like November 2nd. I'm like, I'm gone all of September.
Oh, that'll be a nice break.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm gonna be a zombie when we come back, probably. How many different time zones are we going?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys are.
Yeah, 5 countries.
You know what's funny?
And then
is
we
that
get home and go to Ben Ciotti's wedding the next day.
Dang.
Stop
He's getting
it.
married.
Yeah, he's getting
Oh my
married
God,
up in
seriously?
Connecticut. And so when we were planning the honeymoon, I'm like,
I said no.
I had literally already RSVP'd, and I'm like, I think I have to go to the wedding, but it's the day after we get back. I'm like, do you want to come, or
And
should
I
I just go?
said no.
I don't know what you said, but all I know is you're coming now.
I didn't hear what you said.
The story may have changed a few times, but
My deal was, if you're okay with like a corpse of a person, then I
Right.
will go. Okay.
Oh, that was
Yes.
good enough for him.
indeed. So yeah, it'll be good. Our first wedding as a married couple.
Short legs.
But I might be sleeping at the table.
Yeah, we'll see. We're in
I
it now.
do know that, but
Um,
that's okay.
I have to tell you guys this too because so the other person that I'm gonna do season 2 with.
Oh, I saw the thing on
Yeah. So
the
we've
members
had
on YouTube.
we've had a bunch of different. We were trying to drag some of our friends into it because she wants to read it, but we were like, it'd be fun if there was more people. And
Right.
like half of our friends bailed, but she was like wanting to do it. So we were just texting the other day, and she was like, or I just was like, I need to send you a mic. I'm like, just send me your address, and she just never did. And when I like Marco Polo'd her, I was like, look, I'm not gonna keep begging you, but like send me your address, and I'll like actually send you this mic because I didn't have her address. So she's like, fine, and she sends me the address. She has like this whole unboxing video because I sent her the book too.
Oh,
So she
That's
unboxed
so
the
great.
book, and she got the mic, and she's like, if you want to like do a preliminary interview, like I can do it tonight. So last night we did the preliminary interview. She was so into it. She started reading chapter 1. So I didn't
Yes.
expect this because I was like, let's do a preliminary interview, like do a sneak peek, and then like in like 2-3 months when we finish,
Yeah, right.
then
right.
you start reading. But she was like, I'm just gonna start reading it and like seeing how I like it, and then we'll go from there. So I was like, oh,
She's a wild
I
child. She
know.
can't be reined in.
I know.
Oh.
So I'm gonna have to
the-
start doing season 2 like interspersed with our episodes. So it's gonna be a
Yeah,
mess with all like
Oh
my gosh.
the
Wait, also, Lauren and Brandon
are
I don't.
in.
So they're
Oh.
not. She said that she would do it, but we were talking about like commitment stuff, she's like, well, like guest appearance, and then I was like, yeah, but
You're
so you might have
Yeah.
might have an in. So at the wedding, you should.
I know. I will.
Brandon.
I'm gonna talk to Brandon
Yeah, you have to
first.
talk to
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the way Lauren said it,
Yeah.
it almost sounded like she wanted to do like, I want it to be a thing that's going on without me, and then we just show up sometimes
No
to jump
way.
in.
Yeah.
Like almost like Mel and Kaylee were doing.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we're like, no, like we wanted it to be the whole thing.
I know
So we'll see what they
Brandon's
can commit
schedule
to.
is crazy,
For sure.
But
I
don't
feel like
know.
a second read with you guys and them two would be
She
actual
also
comedic.
it also
gold.
became like a competitive thing where she's like, "Oh, you think you're a comedian?"
If they think you're
oh yeah, that's exactly what she said. 'cause
Eddie is gonna
I,
want to
like,
get on it
I like
soon.
snapped it. I was like, "I'm a comedian, guys." They all laughed at me. They're like, "You're not even the funny one in the family."
If they think you're funny, they're gonna think I'm hilarious.
like they really are gonna get a comedian. I was like, "Well, you're gonna have to prove it." And then it just started
There.
this whole thing.
Competitive
That was the
classic.
hook.
So there's gonna be like even in the middle of us finishing book 7, it's gonna be a mess because I'm gonna do some other stuff. And if you guys start doing your second time read with Lauren and Brandon, we can
Oh
like
my
even
gosh.
still record us with other stuff.
You never.
Gonna get your sister in it.
Yeah, I
It's
think
gonna
my
be-
sister will be in it for the full thing, but we'll see when it actually comes
Yeah,
time.
for sure.
I started
Okay.
collecting books for her when I'm at the thrift stores now. I look for any,
I love
so I
that.
can get a little.
I think
you
she's
know?
also like, what the heck is this? Because almost every friend of yours that meets me and we're hanging out together, like, so the podcast. And like, she is always there. And she's like, I'm like, I feel bad. It's always the
Yeah.
same conversation. I
Yeah.
was like, maybe if you're just in it, you'll.
I'll talk to her
Yeah.
at the wedding. I got like 20 people I got to talk to at the wedding about the podcast.
Yeah.
It's going to be a
Exactly.
recruiting.
And I feel like even if
business
someone,
cards.
it's like if someone wouldn't do the full commitment like Lauren and Brandon, I feel like if we could get them to start,
Yeah,
even if they
100%.
did it like we did, where they read the whole first book at their own pace and say, when you're done with the first book, we'll meet and do an episode, then see if we can coax them into more
Yeah.
and say, all right, for the second book, let's do 2 episodes or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Even if their schedules were so crazy.
Exactly. I feel like when they read the first book, they're going to be hooked, especially Brandon. Brandon's going to just be like,
He's
all right.
like, wait, do you know that during like the Bachelor, my Bachelorette, he just watched Harry Potter? He like did stuff during the
I
day, and then
cannot
at
believe
nighttime he was
that
watching
he has not read these books.
Harry Potter. I know
That-
that's what I said, but they're not readers like me.
I know, but still, like, if you love something that
Mhm.
much, how do you not go back to the source material, and read these?
I just tell
Yeah.
True.
I'm like you just listen to it if you're not like a
Yeah.
reader.
Yep.
Right.
That's
an
what they got to do.
audio.
They just got to like listen to a chapter a night or something like that.
And they both have commutes.
I know. What are they
I don't
doing?
know. I'm trying, but maybe you'll. Brandon, you might have a better in with
Yeah, for sure.
him first, and then
Yeah.
Lauren.
And then we're gonna some people are even throwing this in chat. We have a few things that we're gonna do just like when we finish the books. We're gonna go to Cursed Child together.
Oh yeah,
That's going to
Um,
be great.
I've been.
even
I
though
see a
it's
billboard
so-
every
I know.
day.
It's so controversial.
Oh really?
Not
It's not
canon.
really canon.
Yeah, it is, but it's not.
But
it's
it
like-
is, but it's,
Yeah.
we'll see. Okay.
Well, I don't even know how this ends.
I know.
Who is
exactly,
the cursed
yeah, yeah.
child?
I know.
So shh, don't.
The Cursed Child is
Wait,
nothing
why
to
am
do
I
with these.
saying that?
Yeah. It's so
turning into
out of
him
left
already.
field. So we're gonna go do that. Then we got to go do like our tour of.
The
We got to go to
Universal?
Universal that we were gonna
Mhm.
plan for this
That we
year of
missed.
January.
Mhm.
That we kind of delayed a little bit on, but
And we'll see when we can get King's Cross and Scotland in there and all
yeah,
that.
exactly. Yep.
Oh, if Danny's
we'll get there.
planning it, we're gonna be at every country in like 1 week.
You guys are already going. Where is that?
5 different countries.
Yeah, we're starting in France and then we're going
What's
to
the name of
Switzerland.
Switzerland? This
and-
place in
Oh,
Switzerland.
Grindelwald.
Grindelwald. Yeah, you're going
Yeah.
to Grindelwald.
Oh, we are.
So
going.
we're running around a good amount.
I just let him play.
But we couldn't. Oh man, it would have been cool to stay in that place, the Airbnb that was Harry Potter
Oh,
themed.
I wasn't
But
sure.
actually, I've seen a few
Oh, that's
more just
right.
like that since then. Like even here in the States, where I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like people just theme a whole place after Harry
Yeah.
Potter, and some of them are awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
I just can't. I never knew this world was so big.
Obsessed.
Oh yeah,
It's like beyond.
yeah,
What's a
it
big-
is.
what is,
Honestly,
like-
I didn't know.
What is
either.
even like more?
We haven't
Grand than
even
obsession.
hit the mecca of what I think Harry Potter world is all about yet. We haven't hit it.
In the books? I'm not really sure.
we
what
were
that
we were
means.
even talking about this with that. Remember
Like
the Mecca location I mentioned, but we didn't even know what that tattoo mark was
Oh yeah.
that you saw.
I
You
know.
guys don't know what that is.
And I see a word all the time, and I'm not sure if that's the word you're always asking about, but
Ooh, let's actually start with that. What is the
Oh.
one word?
I don't want to
That-
say because I see something all the time now, and I don't know if that's real or not.
What do you see all the time? Say it.
I don't know because he gets mad
No,
at
you
me.
can say it. It's totally cool because it's not canon.
There's a word, it says always.
You think so? You think
Hmm.
that's
I'll
the
look at
word?
Cause then
How-
I'm,
It says always.
yeah, I every
but that
time,
hasn't even come up.
and then there's a phrase that goes with it that says like
You're reading phrases? All right, now tell me.
How would that be the one word
Tell
though?
me.
That's a great question.
How would
I
that
don't
make
get
sense?
It doesn't. And then it says even if always or something like that. Even after. Oh, can I say it?
Yeah, but I
It's,
don't know
I
what
see
you're
it all the
talking
time.
about.
It's after all this time, always.
So what do you see that on, like bumper stickers or something?
Yeah, I've seen it on like
Well, how do you know it's Harry Potter though? That's what I'm.
because it's hair. Because I get all this
I get a vibe.
wedding stuff that gets sent to me because I like search certain things. So
Oh.
Pinterest and Instagram has turned every little like ad into a Harry Potter themed wedding, and there's little things, and it like some of the bachelorette stuff or the wedding decor has like the symbol, that word and that phrase for like different things. So
That's what Harry says to Ginny when she's hanging off a cliff at the end of the 7th book.
so
He has to save
to
her.
me it doesn't mean anything. Maybe it'll click at some point in a book. Well, there's only one
think-
left, but
If I'm being honest, I think with that phrase, that might be Cursed Child stuff, because Cursed Child has like its own separate, distinct universe. So I don't necessarily
I feel
know.
like you're throwing me off, but that's
No.
okay.
Because I've never seen
Have
it,
you?
but that's why I don't know exactly what that phrase is. So
Oh, you've never seen Cursed Child?
no, I've never seen Cursed
Cool.
Child. I have the screenplay, but I've never read it or seen it
Hmm.
because I have such. I know
Yeah,
the plot of
yeah.
it, and I'm like,
You're not
no.
a fan of it?
And so that might be from that
Oh, okay.
more than it is from the actual Harry Potter, because I know that has like this distinct universe to it, and there's something involved in this. Like, people's entrance into Harry Potter is really interesting to me. I was looking this up, or not looking this up, but like someone was talking about this the other day. That some people start Harry Potter with the Harry Potter books, like book 1. That's their entrance. Some people got into it based on the Fantastic Beasts movies. They saw those, and that was like they didn't care about
Whoa.
Harry Potter so much. They just cared about the Fantastic Beasts movies, and they're like, I don't really care about reading the series. I just like
That's
these
so
movies.
interesting.
Some people do that with the play, where they just see the play and they're like, I don't care about anything else really with Harry Potter, but my entry point is the play. So there's all sorts of entry points for different people, but
That is
Um,
interesting. Well, yeah, that's something that always is always coming up.
always coming up.
I was thinking it was going to be something a little more like strictly Harry Potter related, like a spell or someone's name or like something
I
that's
know,
like
'cause like the word he asked us, what one word?
Mhm.
And then I see one word, and I'm like, that's gotta be it.
I still
But
can't
I
tell if
don't
it's a
even
word or
know
in a
when
phrase, but-
they're not
okay.
saying it throughout any of this.
Yeah.
Because you said it's a word that they've been saying since the beginning,
Hmm.
and I don't know what that is.
you gotta read that material again.
A second time.
Yeah.
Second time readers.
Because I read it the first time. I only actually read the first book.
Oh, because you keep saying that listening isn't reading.
Well, it is reading for me. I'm just saying.
It is reading for everyone. John told us.
I know, but I have a thing with like.
Mm.
Audiobooks not being reading?
Yeah,
It is. 100% it is.
Nice.
I know. I feel
Your brain doesn't process the two differently. I've actually
Yeah.
looked at this, and like people, I think there was like a TED talk on this where audiobooks and you reading, your brain doesn't process the two differently. It's like the same exact thing.
because
So
to
interesting.
me it feels like I'm calling myself out, like a lazy way of
No.
getting the story. Where it feels like this is how I feel about reading. I'm like, it feels like work when I have the book.
Well, I think you're right about that. Like
And then-
listening can be more passive, so that's why sometimes you don't get all the details because it just goes in one out the other.
But I think
Mm.
I've. What's the word I want?
Retained.
Yeah, like I think I put that to shame or put whatever. You know what? Never mind. I'm saying I can recall some details that
Ah,
like
nice.
someone that takes
Yeah.
notes can't.
exactly. Yes.
So that's proof right there.
Okay.
Well, but that's like reading too, because it's like we all read it and then we pick different things out.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
That's why it's fun to talk about all
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah.
You saw that? When was that? Me and Kristen are always looking at each other with these two with their spells and the math and the history, and we're like, that went right over my head. I have no idea.
How did you guys like the end of this book? How it ended? We're gonna talk about power rankings of books later on in the podcast, but I'm just curious how you guys like this ending.
It's sad, but I feel like it's setting the stage for like an adult Harry for the last book in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I liked the ending. I feel like we had no, it wasn't really more chapters, but maybe because of the weight of it or something, it felt like there was more time to debrief after all the big moments. But maybe it was just because I read it slower. It was a nice wind down. It was powerful, meaningful. It feels like this was the turning point of the story. And now I don't know where we're going to go next because we're left in such limbo. that it could change everything. So we'll see, but it was bigger, bolder, sadder.
Yeah.
I think that's like I processed Dumbledore, like it's actually gone, like more.
Yeah.
It was like very final.
Who's out of the 3 main people who've died so far? Whose was the saddest for you guys? Dumbledore's.
Wait, who's the?
So Cedric out of the 3, like Cedric, Sirius, Dumbledore.
You're like, nobody else.
Yeah.
Oh, Dumbledore.
Minor
They didn't
characters
matter.
died,
You guys are serious.
They didn't
This is
matter
the
how
first real
That was
death.
so funny.
Kind of true.
I was gonna say you didn't really care about Sirius.
You know, we were a little harsh on Sirius
Yeah.
on this podcast. I think we just took that tone early on as viewing him as immature,
You're right.
and we never really dropped it. I think it became a bit of headcanon where I like viewed him as just like an overgrown teenager.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it
He
seemed a
always
little
made-
unfair by the end where I was like, oh man. But you're right. We did not have that deep connection like some people did to Sirius.
Well, you just made like rash decisions that never made sense.
Yeah.
Which is what you're saying, but.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I like rule following, protect yourself, safety. So I'm like, I can't relate
Like, this doesn't
to
make
you.
sense.
Yep.
Obviously, I don't want him to die.
Yeah. I think Cedric was intense just because it happened. That, again, was the
Came out of
next
nowhere.
step. You're like, oh my goodness, this
Yeah.
is... People die in these books? Like, it
Yeah.
felt like it brought it to the next level. But then Sirius was another step. But this was by far the worst for me. It
Yeah.
actually affected me. The other ones, sorry guys, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. But like, it has to affect everyone. He was the only one that Tom Riddle was scared of. Well, maybe Harry too. Did you just zoom in on my face? I look over and I see.
Just don't look at me over here. I'm just gonna be like, there.
No, I forgot that's the board that controls it. You can see when he's like beep beep.
I know. You can see me do all this
Sorry,
stuff.
it just was funny.
All right, we're gonna start the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. I'm John,
Jen.
Danny.
And Kristen.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. We are gonna jump right in because we have a lot of ground to cover with 3 chapters for the end, and I have a lot of questions at the very end that we'll cover. But we are on the Flight of the Prince, chapter 28. So someone give me a very quick
Oh, that
summary,
was an annoying one.
very quick synopsis of the Flight of the Prince.
We find
no.
out.
I actually
What
didn't
chapter
write
was this?
one.
I don't think I
This
we
was
find
basically
out who the prince is, and it's Snape, right?
Yeah.
this
and
is like
he's
between Dumbledore's
Running.
office.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
running
Fleeing.
with Malfoy to
Yeah.
escape Harry, and Harry's trying to catch him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
It's literally the whole chapter.
And then he keeps the occlumency. Every time Harry's trying to do a spell, he's saying nope, but and blocking
Blocks
him.
him.
And then that's where I think we've noticed that Snape seems a lot more powerful than we gave him
Yep.
credit for.
Hmm.
Whoa, I gave a summary. It's been a while.
That was,
job.
yeah. I
And
love
off the
it.
top of
really
your
good
head,
'cause we
nice.
Off the top of yeah. Audiobooks, baby.
Yeah.
We did talk about this.
Did you just call him baby?
Oh no,
We're talking about Danny. here.
no, it was
What are,
just.
what are your guys' pet names gonna be?
Jenny Wobbles, obviously.
Well, sometimes it's written. You write it sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Jenny Wobbles?
Yeah. On my
Oh, that
cars.
Warms my heart. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That's so good. What do you guys think? And we've talked about this in the last podcast, and we were just talking about it. But what do you think of Dumbledore's death? How do you think this is going to affect the rest of the series?
I'm nervous that there's not enough good, strong wizards to like help guide Harry.
Hmm.
Well, now there is
And
R.A.B.
well,
He's
yeah.
gonna help.
Oh yeah, I missed that on the
He's
end.
a
of
wild
the,
child, though.
But that's what.
But maybe he has other crazy kids with him.
But
Maybe
just-
there's an order of the something else that he's in charge
But
of.
he also seems so like eternal. Like I didn't think Dumbledore. Like I feel like everyone just looked at him like he's never gonna die. So
Yeah.
and he's the smartest, strongest. We're fine with when he's around. We're protected. We're good. And now
Yeah.
he's gone.
Well, you know, it was funny thinking then in the past week or two of how many other stories follow that that kind of guideline of you have the teacher who then has to move on, because you can't have the ultimate powerful like mentor there, because then your main character doesn't have to solve any problems. So I'm thinking of like Star Wars with Yoda or Obi-Wan, or Gandalf in moments, or Count of Monte Cristo. It's the same guy who plays Dumbledore.
Yeah,
and it's just like those little things
Richard
where
Harris.
now we're going to get to see Harry without his main guy. But I'm excited to see what else Dumbledore set up before he left. And I still have to think
Oh yeah, you have
that
all these things.
Dumbledore did this because he needed to. There would have been other ways out if, well, I don't know if there would have been, but I think Dumbledore knew enough information to set things up that there are things in place that I think we're going to see happen. I was thinking as I was reading this, things with the Phoenix, and his portrait is now hanging, which is good.
You predicted that Dumbledore was going to die because Harry wouldn't have his...
No, I didn't predict it. It just,
shiny-
when it happened, and then I was trying to justify it a little bit, I was like, oh, actually it does make sense from a story perspective, because Harry's the main character, not Dumbledore. And now we're going to be able to see Harry live up to his full potential, which he couldn't do with someone more powerful to guide him.
See, yeah, but I thought he was going to die in the next book. Like, I thought he'd get more training. I feel like he didn't get any.
Agreed. He does not feel prepared.
So I think that one of the biggest questions in your mind is, will Harry be ready, or will he need another mentor? And will whoever this REB, will that be his new mentor? Will McGonagall be his new mentor? Like Lupin, who is his new mentor? Or will he just mature so fast that he just takes this on himself?
I'm going to look at my list again just real
quick.
quick.
We are going to talk about Lupin and Tonks.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe him.
I don't remember how many times I threw out random theories,
Yeah.
but I like that I got that one right, even if it
nailed
was
it.
a shotgun approach.
Nailed it.
That was funny. I was like, what the heck?
Wait a second. Oh, never mind. I was looking at my character list like we did during the live read, where I was like, who is RAB? And I'm looking down my R's, and I'm like, looking at Remus and Richie Coot and Romilda and Ronald Weasley. And then I see Rosalind. I can't see the whole thing. Antigone Bungs. And I'm like, oh, could that be it? And then I wrote in my notes that that's who Hermione found in the library. So never mind. That was an update from this week. My primary suspect is still Regulus Black.
It could be Rosamund, though.
But it could be.
Wait, who is that? The dad?
Or Rupert
No, that's the
Axbanger Brooke
Wait.
Stanton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so lost.
Those are the two names that Hermione found in the library when she was
Sorry, I'm
coming up
jumping
with trying
ahead
to
'cause
find
I'm so
theories
excited,
of who
but-
RIB was.
In
Oh,
the next
she
chapter or
was.
two.
Yeah.
She was looking at.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to find RAB too. They all want to.
She's your best bet. I feel like she even found Prince.
So
Yeah, it's a good point.
that's the
mom.
thing. Yeah, I know. She like nailed it. She didn't connect all the dots, but she found out who these people were. She's a great researcher.
Yeah, she is.
Let's talk about Snape for a little bit. This is one of the lines that we
No, I hate
get. I
him.
know we don't. Wes,
Unless he eventually turns good again.
is he trying to dig something under the couch?
There's something. Yeah.
Actually, can you do me a favor? There's in the freezer. There's a bone with peanut butter in it. You just grab that
Ooh,
and give it to him.
nice.
That'll keep him occupied for a while. Thank you.
So Snape.
Snape. Here's the line. I'm gonna read you a few lines, but Crush, but Snape parried the curse, knocking Harry backwards off his feet before he could complete it. Crush! Yelled Harry for the second time, aiming for the figure ahead, illuminated in the dancing firelight, but Snape blocked the spell again. Harry could see him sneering. No unforgivable curses from you, Potter, he shouted over the rushing of the flames. Hagrid's yells and wild yelpings of the trapped Fang. You haven't got the nerve or the ability. In Karst, Harry wrote, but Snape deflected the spell with an almost lazy flick of his arm. First of all, before I read some of the other lines, how good of a wizard is he? Is he
He's like-
really this good, or is he just good at certain things?
I think he's good at certain things. I want to go with that. Since
Okay.
I
Like
don't
dueling
him.
specifically.
Yeah, because he could read everyone's mind, and so if you're one step ahead, of course you're gonna win.
So you
But
thought
he's
of him as
also
reading
really
his
good
mind.
at potions.
Oh,
Yeah.
You don't think he was reading his mind? What did you
No, I
think?
didn't think that during this. I guess I would think Harry would know if his mind was being read, but maybe you wouldn't.
How?
Like, I don't know. I
Isn't
guess
that the whole point of this like really cool gift or
yeah, maybe
training? Is that like no one knows you're reading their mind?
if he's that good. I guess I kind of thought you would know a little bit, or it would just feel. I don't know. I thought of it more as being instincts of just reading Harry's face, seeing the emotions, the other stuff.
Here,
So
one
I
sec.
did not think of it as being
I got it.
reading his mind.
If you
I want this.
shorten the shorten
Actually,
that
can
and
you
then butt
hold
it up
that?
against the couch.
Shorten. Yeah, I have it like. Okay, maybe like this. I got
And
it.
then
I think it's good. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
that-
Oh,
Yeah,
I-
shortening that one. So it's
Do that. Butt this
And
up
then-
against the couch.
it's okay. Just don't give me a black eye.
No.
It's
Oh my
close
goodness.
enough.
Black eye for
It'll be
the
like Meet the Fockers. With the volleyball. Have you seen
Your
that?
arm's
I've
gonna
seen it.
get
I don't remember
dislocated.
that part though.
Oh, the bride is playing water volleyball and she gets a black eye from
Oof.
Ben Stiller's character
It's a
right
great
before
movie.
her wedding. It's so funny. Anyways, sorry.
Okay, so what's like a power ranking? So we know, is Snape maybe the best potions master in the world? Some of the stuff that was in advanced potion making is insane. He was able to do these potions with no, like Harry was able
Oh,
to do these
that
potions.
book.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
but this is all Snape's research
Ah.
though.
I forgot. The
Is
whole
it his
thing was his.
like that's what I
yeah.
was wondering. Is it like a gifting that he just is like, you know, a really good recipe person, or like he did research and combine? I guess that's.
I think it's a
that
bit of both.
is- Yeah, it has to be. 'cause
I think
that's
it's a
even,
knack
like,
for
cooking.
it. Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Hmm.
I kind of equate it to being like the best chef in the world. He just knows how ingredients react and he knows what tastes good together.
But
knows how to counterbalance
Dumbledore
things.
went to him for a lot of
Yeah.
dark magic reversing. I don't
Yep.
know.
Like Snape was the one that was, I mean, because he was a Defense Against the Dark Arts professor. This one, he was the one that like looked at the locket or looked at the chain
Oh yeah.
that Katie Bell had. Any like potion that Dumbledore needed,
Yeah.
or even that Lupin needed, Snape was always doing it quick. So is he a better wizard than Dumbledore and Voldemort?
I just don't understand how he did it
Mm.
so perfectly. Like,
We did what?
so these spells to help the Order of the Phoenix, I would have thought that he would have tainted them a little bit.
Maybe he has.
I was
though.
gonna say we literally don't know
That's
because I'm just
Fair.
waiting for book 7 to be all these little things that he's poisoned along the way that are now going to start going wrong. Where we think that things have been fixed, we think the locket has been taken care of, but it hasn't. Like, where is the locket now? And is it just things being temporarily fixed, but they're going to be more trouble down the line? I don't know. I'm a little worried about. We now have to doubt everything he did so far.
Mhm.
So
You have to like look back on everything that happened in these books, which
Yep.
you can reread it if on your guy's honeymoon if you want.
nice.
yeah.
well, we do have.
No, I have to wait till we're fully done, then I'll go back.
But you have to
Um,
parse out everything that Snape has done now up until
Yeah.
this point.
And what I'm also thinking is why Voldemort wanted to work at the school so badly,
Mhm.
and did Snape do what Voldemort was trying to do the first time, and what was it?
Oh.
Because Voldemort was trying very hard to work at the school. There is something at Hogwarts that is actually important, and Snape's been there
But
this whole
maybe he
time.
wanted to collect all the
In the
house.
dungeon.
The house cups, not house
Yeah,
cups.
like
yeah, like
objects.
the
Yeah.
Relics.
heirloom things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't know whether it's going to be, what did he say, Gryffindor or Ravenclaw?
Yeah, that's what he's debating in his mind. He's going something of Gryffindors or something of Ravenclaws. He knows the locket. He knows the cup, right?
Yeah, the
Of-
Hufflepuff
yeah.
cup.
And then we'll talk about.
Oh yeah, they
those
list
in
them
a
out. Harry
second,
does a
but-
little
yeah.
thing at the end.
But these are even things that happen with Snape, and this is like really interesting lines. Fight back, Harry screamed at him. Fight back, you cowardly coward. Did you call me coward, Potter? Shouted Snape. Your father would never attack me unless it was 4-on-1. What would you call him, I wonder? Sectum, Snape flicked his wand, and the curse was repelled yet again. but Harry was mere feet away now, and he could see Snape's face clearly at last. He was no longer sneering or jeering. The blazing flames showed a face full of rage. Mustering all his powers of concentration, Harry thought, "Levy, no, Potter," screamed Snape. "You dare use my own spells against me, Potter? It was I who invented him. I, the Half-Blood Prince. And you'd turn my inventions on me like your filthy father, would you? I don't think so. No." And later on, "Kill me then," panted Harry, who felt no fear at all, but only rage and contempt. "Kill me like you killed him, you coward." "Don't!" screamed Snape, and his face was suddenly determined, inhuman, as though he was in much pain, in as much pain as the yelping, howling dog stuck in a burning house behind them. "Call me coward." Is Snape a coward?
Yeah.
And why does he say,
know.
"Don't call me a coward"?
Because I bet you that's what he had growing up, maybe in high school.
Mhm.
Or something with the Dark Lord Voldemort. Like, I don't know. When something went wrong, I feel like maybe he was known as the coward.
Mm.
Like he went to hide in Hogwarts, and that was
Mm.
like his nickname.
Because if you flash back to the Narcissa and when they're doing the unforgivable stuff, it like he gives kind of like the explanation for why he goes back to Hogwarts, but you don't know if you fully trust it, and you're like, was he being more cowardly by going to Hogwarts than actually searching for the Dark Lord?
Yep.
And maybe there's like issues behind that. Wes, it's just the neighbors. So is he a coward?
I kind of don't view him as a coward right now, but we don't know enough details. It feels too calculated.
He's also like yeah, but if someone calls you something that you're not, or you don't.
Oh, I
have
was gonna
any-
say he's sensitive to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
This is some kind of insecurity. This is a little bit of a weak point, but I just don't know why. But it made me think this was, like you said, high school, like something James Potter would have called him. Did he ever? I don't know. I can't remember what happened in the memory, but yeah, it's an insecurity.
Upside
But
down
I don't.
with
I don't
dirty
know.
underwear. Right? Isn't that what happened
Yeah. Like he,
in high school?
he got like flipped upside down. Yeah. Everyone saw his underwear under his robes.
I thought it was dirty too.
I think it was dirty.
It probably was.
It's also strange to me that they don't wear any like pants under their robes. Like if I'm wearing like, your
Right.
school robes, I feel like you would wear normal, right? Like pants under those?
Yeah.
You would
that's
think.
Unless you want a healthy breeze, like what's
And like,
his name
yeah,
at
it's
the-
like in this castle, it must be so warm. Like, oh,
yeah.
So
I guess
maybe
it's
they
summer.
try to, they're wearing these robes.
I don't know. I was thinking of like my school uniform. I had a skirt, but we wore like shorts or boxers.
Yeah, for sure,
under
yeah.
them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I would agree. I'd wear
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Well, that's why they're
remember,
making fun of him.
so
That's
does
why he's
anything
a coward.
does anything connect with that chapter? Because that again is called Snape's worst memory. Why was that his worst memory?
Oh yeah.
Is that where he was called a coward? Maybe
I don't
right after
remember
that.
if they said coward in that. But I was thinking I wouldn't be surprised if that was all connected to the memory of him almost dying with the Shrieking Shack and the
Mhm.
tunnel and the Whomping Willow area, whatever.
Yeah, there's still like some stuff we don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Because Dumbledore said that there's a tie to Harry or about him saving his life.
Yeah.
About
yeah.
James Potter saving Snape's life, and he owes Harry something. I thought.
That's a little
Is that
weird.
wrong?
If you owe
Since
somebody,
you're like the encyclopedia.
I think he did say
Yeah.
that, but
He says that to some extent. Like
That's not real.
there's two like life debts that people owe in this, which is Wormtail because Harry spared his life, and then they mentioned something along the lines of that with Snape, with how the reason that Snape hates Harry so much is because Snape owes James his life. Because at one time, there's
Yeah.
nothing like
Hmm.
they don't mention anything explicitly magical in that,
Oh.
but that there's like an underlying assumption at this point in the books. You're like, was there something magical in that? And
Right.
did Snape maybe betray that or something like that? And that's why he's so cowardly
Hmm.
and offended at that, you know?
Yeah, it could be.
So you just don't know
Huh.
anything with what Snape is doing, but it's makes you furious because he's saying don't call me coward, but this is like the most cowardly act where he literally just betrays someone in like cold blood and kills them. Because this is even the line when they're going back. Harry heard Hagrid's moan of pain and shock, but he did not stop. He walked slowly forward until he reached the place where Dumbledore lay and crouched down beside him. He had known there was no hope from the moment that the full body bind curse Dumbledore had placed upon him lifted. Known that it could have only happened because its caster was dead, but there was still no preparation for seeing him there, spread-eagled, broken. The greatest wizard Harry had ever or would ever meet. Dumbledore's eyes were closed, but for the strange angle of his arms and legs, he might have been sleeping. Harry reached out, straightened the half-moon spectacles upon his crooked nose, and wiped a trickle of blood from the mouth with his own sleeve. Then he gazed down at the wise old face and tried to absorb the enormous and incomprehensible truth that never again would Dumbledore speak to him. Never again could he help. Rough lines here. And then this is what we get in the fake Horcrux. To the Dark Lord, I know I will be dead long before you read this, but I want you to know that it was I who discovered your secret. I have stolen the real Horcrux and intend to destroy it as soon as I can. I face death in the hope that when you meet your match, you will be mortal once more. R.A.B.
He faces death. What does that even mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
He faces death.
I feel like he
He'll
knows
be
about the
dead?
prophecy, this person. He or she. Maybe. Or maybe it's just projecting it.
Interesting.
You have to eventually die. But it feels more like that. What page is that again?
609.
Because also it makes me think like, but it's interesting because I wonder, sometimes I go back and forth between, is this man or person older or younger, like Dumbledore's age, Tom Riddle's age, James Potter's age? Like I was trying to, not that you get anything from this, but I was wondering, is it like this person knows it's going to take forever to get these Horcruxes and destroy them, so like, yeah, I'll probably be dead at this point if I'm the only one single-handedly going to destroy these, and it's so hard to come by them? Or is it actually someone that's older?
Yeah. I'm still going based on the theory that it's Regulus because it's the only one that makes sense. Unless Hermione's right with one of her guesses. And then that would, I think Regulus was Sirius's older brother. I could have been younger, I don't remember. But either way, it would be around Sirius's age. So I don't know, but he was a Death Eater, turned good.
How do you remember this?
Well, that was in my notes. Death Eater turned good. Is he good or bad now? So, oh man, I don't know. I'm curious when he says now he knows he'll be dead by the time Voldemort finds this, which is weird.
Yeah.
And now he's going to face death. Do you have to like kill yourself to destroy a Horcrux or something? Or does he already know where the next Horcrux is and knows that he'll have to die to get that one?
Well, Dumbledore.
And how can he do this alone?
Almost died, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Dumbledore almost died and needed Harry to do this. So John asked in the last podcast how it would be possible. I have no idea.
When he destroyed the ring.
Oh, even the ring, yeah, with the black hand and everything. So
How did he destroy it?
He needed Snape to help him. That's what's so crazy.
Hmm.
He has multiple of these
Yeah.
like traps, and it took so much effort out of Dumbledore. That's what's
Yeah.
I know.
like, crazy.
So I want to propose something that's maybe gonna like flip the books upside down a little bit. But is Dumbledore do you guys actually think that Dumbledore is in debt to Snape in some way, which is why he played it off like this? Like almost held for ransom to some small extent. Because why would Dumbledore, why would he trust him so much? And then Snape does something where, what you're talking about, Jen, Dumbledore has this ring and he doesn't know how to destroy it. All of a sudden Snape comes up with this potion and then the ring is destroyed. It contains the spread of whatever was happening in Dumbledore's arm. It contained that, but then the ring was destroyed after that. So is Snape low-key destroying these things, and is he maybe making Horcruxes or something like that? Is Snape the ultimate power in this book? Yeah.
Like he's trying to overthrow Voldemort.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he really know more than Dumbledore? Because again, how do you destroy a Horcrux?
I have no idea.
Or was it even destroyed? Did he transfer it into something else?
Yeah.
And Dumbledore thinks it's destroyed.
Yeah.
But Snape already found the other thing hiding in Hogwarts that could make for another Horcrux, transfers it into that, and says, "Oh, Dumbledore, yeah, it's destroyed. Look, the ring. It doesn't have any magic anymore." But really, he's going to go return it to Voldemort. So it's again now that we don't.
This is like a weird concept. That
The Horcrux in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, you explained it and you predicted it perfectly. It's the concealment of one's soul in an object.
I just didn't get the whole like trap set up for them. And then like if he wants his soul back, he has to do all this to get it back.
I don't know if you can get it back though.
I don't know if he wants to go back and get it.
Okay, so
Why
that's
would he?
I guess that's why I'm just like confused about. So
Yeah,
you
it's
just
an interesting
have it
question.
just sitting there, and then in case all your other souls die, that Horcrux with your soul does what?
So
just sits there forever.
yeah, it sits there. So
that's what I'm like.
But here's the thing: Dumbledore or Voldemort, and this is going to raise another issue that you always have with this is Voldemort's followers. If the one part of his soul, if like the part of his soul that's actually living, died. Somehow, I don't know how, but he would communicate to one of his followers to go get this other Horcrux, sacrifice your life, or maybe he wouldn't even tell him to sacrifice his life. Maybe they somehow they know about this, or like one person knows about each Horcrux. He'd tell them to go drink this potion, and then all of a sudden maybe he's back or something like that. Maybe it's something along those lines where he doesn't really care for these people to die.
That's not what Wormtail did.
Yeah, Wormtail did something slightly different.
Did a whole like potion thing.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
why I'm getting very confused.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what happened before? He has all these Horcruxes, and none of them were used to bring him back to life this time.
No.
For this series.
Well, yeah, the potion thing was still OG Voldemort. It was like the original form of Voldemort. So remember, he like shriveled away, tried to possess Quirrell. That didn't work, so he shriveled away again. And then all of a sudden, this he like is this baby form, and then
disgusting.
Wormtail finds this potion that like resurrects him to be his full potential again. Weird, super complicated. You guys are gonna have to reread the whole series on your honeymoon.
Sorry.
But did Dumbledore
Side
die for
tangent.
nothing here?
No, he died for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but for a reason. I think he needed to, whether it was a prophecy that he knew, or whether it's ancient magic.
There it
because
is.
what I was thinking is betrayal could also be something too, like whether he wants to haunt Snape now and say, cool, once you're betrayed, you like maybe there's a thing. Again, I'm thinking we don't know enough information, but I was thinking maybe Dumbledore trusts Snape because of an unbreakable vow, but Dumbledore only thinks the vow was made because Snape did occlumency on him. So then Dumbledore is trusting him, but then it's a betrayal. But then for whatever reason, I'm thinking it was along those lines. But then as I was reading the next chapter, I thought the Phoenix Lament, I thought of that music, something more powerful than anything taught at Hogwarts. Yep. I was thinking that's creating a shield at Hogwarts. That's creating Phoenix vibes of protection at Hogwarts. So again, it could be this Dumbledore being from a position of knowing more than anyone else. That's how I think of it. I'm thinking he is adjusting to the times, and at some point knew things were going to go south and said, if that happens, it's okay because now I've got a Phoenix who will mourn for me.
Into the Phoenix.
Could he do that?
Horcrux.
His own Horcrux.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
That would be kind of cool. Do you think
I don't know
Dumbledore
how it
has
would work,
Horcruxes
but-
set up?
He
No.
didn't kill anyone.
Well,
I guess
Maybe
the question
there's
is,
another way
is
if you
Dumbledore actually
die.
dead?
I was gonna say we go back to the thing where you can have a broken heart from other ways other than murder, and then you can split your soul that way if he really did have family that
But
died.
wouldn't so many people have split their soul? That's what I still don't get.
I don't know if people know about it.
So then how does it exist?
Well, no, because Voldemort had to work so hard to even find it, and then there's got to be a downside. I mean, there are downsides.
You killed people.
Yeah, but assuming Dumbledore could do it in a way where
I
you
guess
don't
that's
murder.
an upside for him. But.
Yeah, but like if Dumbledore found a way to do it without murder, I still feel like why would he?
But then
Why what?
no, just totally different tangent. I was like, what is Fox? Was he Dumbledore's pet, or he was just his best friend, and now he's in the wild?
Is he in the wild?
He
I want him to be
left.
Harry's now.
Well,
Me
let's go
too.
to this next chapter, the
Oh,
Phoenix
yeah.
Lament. Give me a quick summary of the Phoenix Lament, and we'll talk about Fox for a little bit.
I don't remember. it
Oh,
as
this is
much.
where the Order and the kids meet in the hospital wing. Or maybe it's not fully the Order. I don't remember. Whoever. They meet in the hospital wing and go over the events of the evening. Fleur and Mrs. Weasley have a breakthrough, and Tonks is in love with Lupin. Good job, Danny.
Go, Danny.
McGonagall is
It's
now
your
headmaster of
birthday. We're
Hogwarts.
gonna party like it's your birthday.
You went for a way longer.
It's your
on
birthday. Yeah, that was a
song.
long song right there. All right, here's how this chapter starts.
Fox
We just
song.
split.
Fear stirred in Harry's chest again. He had forgotten the inert figures he had left behind. Ginny, who else is dead? Don't worry. None of us. But the dark mark. Malfoy said he stepped over a body. He stepped over Bill, but it's all right. He's alive. There was something in her voice, however, that Harry knew boded ill. Are you sure? Of course I'm sure. He's a bit of a mess, that's all. Greyback attacked him. Madame Pomfrey says he won't look the same anymore. Maybe this is a strange question, but do you think that Harry actually understands the cost of what this fight is all about?
The cost of the fight
Yeah,
between him and Voldemort.
yeah.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I don't think he could, just based on how he wasn't listening about occlumency lessons and stuff in the last book. I just feel like he wasn't. He was never taking this as seriously as he would if he really understood the cost.
Yeah. But
That
again,
people are dying on his behalf.
But he's a kid
Yeah.
too, and it's all he's ever known. He's been the
Agreed.
chosen one
Yeah.
forever. He's like, oh, another day of me versus Voldemort,
I feel
whatever.
like he also has the vision of vengeance because Voldemort killed his parents. So I feel like that's kind of like a... Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
And
well, if I save the world in the process, great,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, and like even Dumbledore said it, but like you'd go after Voldemort either way. So,
It's healthy though.
that is the one thing we always mention too, is that he's still a kid, so you have to like give him. And this is one reason I love this book too, is because it's like so dark, but then there's moments where Harry just wants to be a kid, and you see that. There's a one moment with Ginny that's terribly sad when he breaks up with Ginny and he goes,
That's the part I cried at.
yeah, he goes, it's like it's been like something out of someone else's dream. Like Harry doesn't even give himself permission to dream like that. He's like, I'm living someone else's life. He's doesn't even think happiness belongs to him. So it's so tragic. So in some ways he gets the cost, but in other ways he just wants to be a kid and not have to deal with any of this stuff. And I think this book does a great job of like throwing those two together, where he understands some of the cost of it, but he's still like, I don't want to take occlumency with Snape. You know, this sucks. But you're like, Harry, mature up a little bit. Take this, otherwise people are going to die. And he realizes that slowly, but he just doesn't want to do it. He's still a teenager. He still doesn't want to do certain things that he doesn't want to do. You know, he's going to be stubborn.
If he became really good at it with Snape, that would have been amazing.
I know, right? Like that's like the age old like master versus apprentice kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where like Harry's actually able to keep him out, and he like realizes that would have solved this whole book if Harry learned occlumency
yeah, you're right.
and read some of Snape's mind, or like actually understood what was going on.
But couldn't have Dumbledore?
I don't know if Dumbledore's good at it, to be honest.
He said he was going to teach him, though. He's like, I should have done it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think he's as good as Snape is. Well, now I don't think so, or he
obviously
would have
not.
known. Or unless he really did need to die because of some prophecy and he really knew this was going to happen. But I think he let Snape in too deep for him to know. If he knew, I don't think he would have let Snape this close.
Yeah.
But it's weird.
It also sucks.
What?
Sorry. No, I was just thinking the last chapter. It's like literally Harry was the only one running after Snape because if there was two, who would he be able to pick from to like block? And that would have been kind of neat.
Yeah,
to
that's actually
see
interesting,
him
yeah.
not him to be stopped.
Yeah, you're right.
And then I even thought even crazier. What if Malfoy was so shocked that he killed Dumbledore that he turned on Snape, and that would have been interesting too.
Dang, that would have been really
Malfoy
interesting.
did feel like he was coming around.
I
If
know,
this didn't
that's
all
the
happen
frustrating
like
part.
that.
I
and
know.
He lowered his wand. By the end, Harry felt bad for him. I was like, whoa, I don't know if I'm really there yet, but it's an interesting point where I started to feel bad for him a little bit, but it's still all his fault that this happened, so I don't feel that bad.
Yeah. But
What-
it just stinks because it's like if it was more on like 2-on-1, 3-on-1,
Mhm.
he wouldn't have been. I don't think you can read multiple minds at the same time, or whatever. This.
Certainly not
Yeah.
easily.
Sorry, you were asking.
Oh,
No,
if
he
Harry
didn't-
he didn't get the memory from Slughorn in this book. That was the other thing. He didn't take it that seriously when Dumbledore gave him that mission. Again, I don't think he understands the cost, the weight of it all.
But it didn't change anything, did it?
I mean, we didn't think of it as being that important,
Dumbledore
but
just died
Dumbledore told
sooner.
him it was that important. And again, we might find out more about that memory than we even know now. Like, Dumbledore may have gotten more from it than we realize. Afterwards, he says, now we know there are 6 Horcruxes and 1 Voldemort. And even we said, well, it also could be 7 Horcruxes because it's a magical number. But then at least Dumbledore thought 6 and his soul. But then we're like, what if there's more? What if there was more from that memory that Dumbledore picked up on?
Yeah.
Something about Tom in that moment.
But he didn't share it with anyone like
He
us.
didn't. You're right.
I know.
I want to know.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Maybe he told his portrait and that's all
That
we
was
need.
sad when his portrait went on the wall.
Yeah,
Does
I
it
know.
talk right away?
Right
It
away.
should, yeah. It does.
Yeah, I think it does.
There's like a little reboot and like takes a week for it to start.
Yeah.
It's like a baby. He's got to learn
Oof.
words.
A portrait would have to do a bit of mourning for its
Self?
person.
Right? Yeah.
That'd be intense.
Sad.
I like that McGonagall's in charge for now. That makes me feel good.
Hmm.
Yeah, but they're
But
all
I'm
talking
not
about
getting my hopes
closing
up.
the school.
What do you mean you're not
Yeah.
getting your hopes up?
Well, just because the ministry is so ugh.
Yeah.
I can't trust them. They'll put Umbridge back in charge.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
I
that?
like that McGonagall was like the de facto person immediately. Everyone was like, you're in charge. And I think it even said that was known. She was like the second in command. But then now the ministry's already here for the funeral and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, man. And they have to talk to the governors. Cool. But who are the governors now? We don't even know how they get elected or chosen or who are these people? Do we
They're
trust
all
them?
left
We don't trust
'cause
them that
they're
much
Death Eaters.
because Lucius swayed them with money
Yeah.
before. So either way, I'm like, I'm not going to get my hopes up about it, but it'd be cool to have McGonagall be in charge.
I think Lucius swayed them with threats.
Was that it? Threats?
That's how they.
All right, that's better.
They
That's
sway
better than money.
everyone, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then how is he just walking around after threatening governors?
That's
there's
a
a
great
couple more
question.
books,
Why
he's just
is
out there, like-
Lucius Malfoy not behind bars, which he is right now. but-
Yeah, finally. But like all that time, and he's yucking it up with
'Cause
fudge.
it's money.
too,
Yeah. Well, you're
after
partially
that.
right. It's probably money.
I assumed
he's
it
a big
was-
donator because that's what
yeah.
they say in Order of the Phoenix in the beginning. What's his face? Fudge goes, oh, he's a big donator to the ministry, so he
Yep.
just does whatever he wants. He can threaten anybody and still get away with it. You know, it's like our
Ridiculous.
government. You know. Here's another line. When Harry tells them that Dumbledore has died, Lupin goes, "No." Lupin looked wildly from Ginny to Harry, as though hoping the latter might contradict her. But when Harry did not, Lupin collapsed into a chair beside Bill's bed, his hands over his face. Harry had never seen Lupin lose control before. He felt as though he was intruding upon something private, indecent. He turned away and caught Ron's eye instead, exchanging a silent look that confirmed what Ginny had said. Have you ever experienced grief like Lupin did? We don't have to talk about stories because that might be sad. Or seen someone experience that?
Yes.
If you don't want, you don't have to share.
I mean, I can
But
bring the mood down.
That's what he likes.
yeah, come on.
Sometimes. I
Zip.
think.
All the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in 2007, my brother-in-law passed away from cancer, and I'll never forget the moment that I saw my mom and my sister when it happened. It's weird. I just collapsed. It was like you just lose all function of everything, and I just collapsed on the in the middle of the road, basically, because it was like their little cul-de-sac thing. But it's weird. You just like go blank.
Yep.
Kind of. It's like you remember specific things,
Yeah.
but it's also just a blur and blank.
And it's weird
It's
how
very
it just hits you in just a moment. Like Lupin, this is a great description because like you like literally fall over. Like it just blindsides you. You're not expecting something, and all of a sudden something happens, and you're like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah.
And it's brutal. It's not fun.
Yeah. So anyway.
I do like the description though that it's like Harry felt like he was intruding on something, and he's never seen Lupin at a moment like this, which is like Dumbledore had such importance in the universe of Harry Potter that when he dies, people aren't not able to control themselves. They like fall by the wayside, and they're like they can't control their grief because he was that important. But this is another line that we get. Gulping, Madame Pomfrey pressed her fingers to her mouth, her eyes wide. Somewhere out in the darkness, a phoenix was singing, in a way Harry had never heard before, a stricken lament of terrible beauty. And Harry felt, as he had felt about the phoenix song before, that the music was inside him, not without. It was his own grief, turned magically to song that echoed across the grounds and through the castle windows. How long they all stood there listening, he did not know, nor why it seemed to ease their pain a little to listen to the sound of their mourning. But it felt like a long time later that the hospital door opened again and Professor McGonagall entered the ward. Like all the rest, she bore the marks of the recent battle. There were grazes on her face, and her robes were ripped. And then she says, Snape, repeated McGonagall faintly, falling into the chair. Even she falls. We all wondered. But he trusted. Always. Snape. I can't believe it. Do you think the professor is actually, like, knew
Always?
better?
Hey, where?
Oh my gosh.
But he trusted.
Anytime we come across that word now, you're going to be like, there it is.
It's in the
It's
book.
like ancient magic.
Nah, it was too flippant. Doesn't count.
Do you think that the professors knew better? Like, or should they have known
It
better?
sounds like McGonagall did. It sounds like she was like, none of us trusted him. Dumbledore did. And we trusted
the only
Dumbledore.
reason why, yeah.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for Dumbledore constantly vouching for him, he wouldn't have stayed. Like that's almost what it sounds like. We all wondered, but he trusted him. So, oh man.
Always is a lot on this page, just saying.
Well, it's in other places.
Yep.
Nice.
But that's
Oh,
a
I
common
always
word.
thought Dumbledore must know something. I mean, it's a pretty normal word, I guess.
It's like
Whatever.
the word's
It's
average.
one,
Yeah.
it is one word, and that's US.
Mm.
But I cheated. Because it doesn't count if I didn't come up with it myself.
Is there anything? So this is the moment too where the whole group gives their briefing on what actually happened with like their side of the story, where they're like, the curses were flying over our heads. McGonagall's like, oh, I let Snape go past me, and they're all regretting the things that they could have or should have done.
No, they all said they let Snape go, but it's like you don't know.
I know you don't know. I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
But was there anything about the stories that they were telling that was strange to you or that hit you differently? Do you think there's any clues within those stories about anything that's going to happen later on?
I didn't take notes like this one, so.
I don't know about like the next few pages. I'm still like looking at this one where it's just people saying, all about Snape's betrayal, and Tonks is chiming in too, and McGonagall. And it just reinforces my thoughts about it being some kind of prophecy that will come up later, that it needed to be a betrayal. That like Dumbledore had to die in a betrayal of some kind in order for, or even maybe the members of the Order of the Phoenix had to feel betrayed. Whether it's ancient magic or whether it's just a prophecy of a betrayal being necessary for some reason.
It's interesting that no one knew why he trusted.
Yeah, he didn't tell anybody else. He didn't. So now we're seeing McGonagall, Lupin, Tonks, like other people that we
That
thought
was
Dumbledore
weird,
would
I
trust. And Lupin saying the same thing. He's just saying Snape always hated James. Dumbledore believed him. No, but he even says it like incredulously. He's like, and Dumbledore believed that? Like Lupin really seems almost angry in this moment. Like, why did Dumbledore trust him? We
Everyone, I
always
think,
told him
is.
not to trust him, but he did.
So
I don't know.
this is like a pressing question. You might answer it very easily with this one, but if you could have Dumbledore back, if Harry could ask Dumbledore one question,
Oof.
just one question, what if you were in Harry's shoes, what would you ask him?
What do I need to do without you?
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah,
one.
it's like I'm trying to think of how I can pack a bunch of questions into one. Because, yeah, what is the one question?
What is
I-
the most pressing point on this book?
I feel like it's got to be something with Horcruxes, or like really just more of, or maybe the other thing I'm thinking is, let's assume for a second every Horcrux is gone. How
Yeah.
do you kill Voldemort then?
Or you
That
just
still
say,
is a big deal.
how magical am I, that, and what do I have to tap into to
Yep.
defeat Tom Riddle? Because he kept saying that.
Yeah.
Like, you're more precious or you're more valuable or whatever, even when he was in this.
What's so special
Trap.
about my blood?
And then he said, you don't even know how much you're protected or the ancient magic that's running in your blood or something like that. Like, he never explained it.
Right. He didn't.
And that would have been great.
He never explained any of this stuff, which is so frustrating. Like, you have so many questions now that he did a little bit of explaining on. But again, Harry is at the point where he doesn't know Dumbledore's going to die, so he feels like he has so much time with him to ask him these questions. And he's probably going to kick himself in the butt later with all the questions that he should have asked him.
I think that he maybe even came up in the book. He might have said, I wish I could have asked him something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's also,
Tough.
this is a little random and probably is just a dead comment, but like, Lupin, Snape, James, they were all in the same class, right? So like, I just find it weird that I guess people change, but would Lupin have known, like, okay, he's going to be a Death Eater from his high school self? Like, the way he acted, are you that evil that you would turn on all of us? And would that have helped Dumbledore? Nah, he was doing his own thing.
Yeah, I don't think they
don't
are
know.
materializing into their like future selves quite at that point. Like the Marauders were the Marauders, and they kind of were just like a bunch of idiots. But even Voldemort himself, like he was starting to amass a following. But when he was a student, he hadn't changed his name. He was doing a lot of things in secret. He was killing people and making Horcruxes in secret at his age, which is what Harry's age is right now, which is shocking. That's insane, the kind of magic that he was doing. But he was slowly amassing a following, but he wasn't like obviously anything up to what he is right now. And I think the same is probably true of Snape. He probably was like slowly growing to be on the dark side, but he wasn't quite there yet, where like maybe he still had certain bits of hope. And then maybe that worst memory was like where he confirmed himself to be like bad, where like he's like, these people are making fun of me. This is where he seeks out revenge or something like that.
Then the Half-Blood Prince, I just thought that was also interesting. I think it came up in where it's like he's Lord Voldemort and then it's a prince. Is Hermione the one that brought it up? So then it's like, what's the connection there? Was that a connection together, or that was two separate things and it's a coincidence that they have the same titles in a way? Royal.
I mean, yeah, like, but using that name, even though it's not his name, and then using it in high school, it makes me think that Voldemort got to him in high school And I'm thinking of movies like The Departed or something where, you know, you're putting someone in behind enemy lines for years and years and years and saying, all right, Snape, finish high school, get a normal job, be a teacher here. And, you know, when I need you in 20 years, I'm going to come to you.
Yeah.
And it feels like one of those kinds of things where
It
it
does, like,
could have
put you-
gone that far back.
Yeah, it makes you go like insane too, because Leo in that movie like goes insane. He like, can't handle the pressure for that.
Yep.
I forget that movie.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it is a great
I've
movie.
seen it, but
I mean, this is a harrowing question too. Someone on chat just threw this out, but this is like back in your face. But when we were that age, what would we have done if we were in Harry's position? Like when we were 16, I know for sure I wouldn't have done anything. I'd be all playing Quidditch, flying around.
Yeah.
I would not want any
I can't
responsibility.
even go that far back in my.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
I know.
I was such a dingus. So to have like actual
So
weight
glad
and
you grew
responsibility,
Yeah.
it's Harry's feeling it.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to like think of people who had that kind of responsibility
that
or like
junior?
weightiness.
That's a junior in high
Yeah,
school.
junior
right?
in high school. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sports and driving permit. That's
Yeah.
what I was.
Yeah,
That's what we were focused
Very
on, yeah.
simple problems, you know.
But then we kind of pivot in this chapter. It's a cute little moment. But this is what happens. Of course, it doesn't matter how he looks. It's not really important. But he was a very handsome little boy. Always very handsome. And he was going to be married. And what do you mean by that? Said Fleur suddenly and loudly. What do you mean he was going to be married? Mrs. Weasley raised her tear-stained face,
Whoa,
looking
you've been
startled.
practicing.
Well, only that. You think Bill will not wish to marry me anymore? Demanded Fleur. You think because of these bites he will not love me? No, that's not what because he will, said Fleur, drawing herself up to her full height and throwing back her long mane of silver hair. It will take more than a werewolf to stop Bill loving me. Well, yes, I'm sure, said Mrs. Weasley. But I thought perhaps, given how you thought he would not wish to marry him? Or perhaps you hoped, said Fleur, her nostrils flaring. What do I care how he looks? I am good looking enough for both of us, I think. All these scars show that my husband is brave, and I shall do that, she added fiercely, pushing Mrs. Weasley aside and snatching the ointment from her. How cool is Fleur in this moment?
A+ for that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, pretty cool. A little rough around the edges,
Yeah.
pushing her aside at the end.
For
but,
sure, yeah.
But we'll forgive her that for sure.
Oh no, I was saying A+ for
Yeah.
your reading.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Ah, that
For
was, yeah.
your accent.
I think A+ for her attitude, too, here. I love that.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I loved it.
So great.
I think
Mrs.
she
Weasley
needed
kind of needed that.
Yes.
Agreed.
Like, I love
Yep,
Mrs.
it
Weasley. We
needed
love
to
Mrs.
be-
Weasley here.
But it's like any
strong.
mother, again, like we talked about.
Yeah.
It's the first
It's the
marriage
first
in the
in-law.
family,
Yep.
and she has to let go of her little boy.
And then she
Hmm.
goes, I think we have a lovely, tiara or diadem that
Oh yeah.
will serve you great.
Which I don't like that.
What?
That's Horcrux material.
Oh my
You
gosh.
think
I don't want a family heirloom tiara being passed down. Remember what I said when we were talking about
It's the
Horcruxes?
Weasleys. You said there's something at the Burrow.
In the burrow. This could be a thing in the burrow.
So you
because-
think that there's a tiara
I'm
or
not
what
saying
was it? A
necessarily.
tiara or a diadem?
But the thing is, she did say a beautiful tiara, goblin made. And we know there's goblin magic. They make good stuff. It's a whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So anyways,
You don't trust anything.
No.
yeah, it's true.
Could you imagine if there was well?
Good thing I
but
trust
that's the thing.
everything.
I'm just
I was
like,
oh, that's so sweet.
There was a rat human with the Weasleys for 12, 13
Yes.
years. So maybe there's a Horcrux in with them where Voldemort was like, hey, this is a
Exactly.
great way. These guys they're a oblivious family.
and jewels and things that are expensive, I think
You know the Weasleys are going to hold on to.
it's that muggle thing too, where things we value in the muggle world
Yeah.
all kind of seem to have value in the wizard world, like gold with galleons and jewels and things like that. So a tiara and goblin made, I'm like, this has got trifecta here with precious metals, jewels, and goblin made. This
not
is some
Lord of
prominence
the
that we got to be worried
Rings.
about.
But what's the
Or
prominence of it?
Well, I just assume it's a family heirloom because of the way she talked
But then
about
why
it.
would Voldemort be after a Weasley family heirloom?
That is a great question. And I don't know. But I was just, because we don't know anything really about it, but we do know Muriel has come up before. She's the kisser. And
yeah.
so now I'm like, we don't know
I
anything
don't
about the
remember
Weasley
this.
family.
She's the kisser that Ron kisses.
Ginny was making fun of, like, you haven't kissed anyone except Aunt Muriel. So
Exactly what we were talking about earlier.
So basically, all I'm saying is Aunt Muriel has come up multiple times, and now she's given this precious heirloom. And the Weasleys are a noted wizard family, one of the 27, 29.
Sacred 28?
The 28, Sacred 28.
Pure blood.
Right. So I'm just saying this.
So if you're a pure blood, I'm sorry.
No, pure blood, yeah, because Voldemort might want his grubbies all
I know,
over
I
this
was
thing.
gonna
So,
keep going.
and we don't know, but it could be more than we even realize. Anyways, it's on my radar.
But what I was interrupting you about was
Yeah.
that I wonder if Voldemort is trying to taint, ruin pure blood families that are not following him.
Oh, sabotage.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do you
Like
mean?
the Weasleys are pure bloods and they're clearly against, they're in the Order of the Phoenix. So maybe he's trying to set traps or something to attack these pure blood families that are not following him. Death Eaters, whatever. Because he loves
Yeah.
pure bloods. He's not one.
Yeah.
So let's destroy the ones that don't follow me.
Huh.
Yeah, in a sense, I think you could be right. But they're also
Anyway.
being pure blood so far. Unless
Yeah,
Fred
but
or
Bill
George
just
married
got
that
attacked.
village girl.
If
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
talking
it's
about
true.
this tiara thing, maybe it's not a Horcrux, but maybe it's a.
Danny just he's putting a headcanon in my head right now.
Well, I'm just saying
You
that
two with your little bromance.
they're
Ew.
still doing pure blood stuff. I like Fleur now more than I did before.
She's not too sassy for you.
No, she's just sassy enough for Bill, and you're just
stood
sassy
up
enough
for
for me.
him.
But I think it's just funny because she,
Good
I assume,
cover.
is also pure blood. So then the Weasleys are just doing more pure blood stuff, you know? Where I'm like, oh, it'd be nice if they actually, you
Well,
know.
Hermione and Ron potentially.
Ooh, that'd be good. Yeah.
You like mixed blood.
I like all people, and I just know that Voldemort
Well, I'm
doesn't.
mixed blood, so it's good. We all are.
Yeah. We're all mutts.
I don't know, but anyways, I'm glad that Fleur and Mrs. Weasley are bonding.
We have this moment after, and this is something that I want to talk about for a little bit. You see, said a strained voice. Tonks was glaring at Lupin.
Yes.
She still wants to marry him, even though he's been bitten. She doesn't care. It's different, said Lupin, barely moving his lips and looking suddenly tense. Bill will not be a full werewolf. The cases are completely... But I don't care either. I don't care, said Tonks, seizing the front of Lupin's robes and shaking them. I've told you a million times. And the meaning of Tonks' Patronus and her mouse-colored hair and the reason she had come running back to find Dumbledore when she had heard a rumor someone had been attacked by Greyback all of a sudden became clear to Harry. It had not been Sirius that Tonks had fallen in love with after all. I've told you a million times, said Lupin, refusing to meet her eyes, staring at the floor, that I am too old for you, too poor, too dangerous. I've said it all along. You're taking a ridiculous line on this, Remus, said Mrs. Weasley over Fleur's shoulder as she patted her on the back. I am not being ridiculous, said Lupin steadily. Tonks deserves someone young and whole. But she wants you, said Mr. Weasley with a small smile. And after all, Remus, young and whole men do not necessarily remain so.
Oh, so true.
Wisdom right there. And he's pointing at his son, too.
I know.
What do you think of Lupin and Tonks?
That never even crossed my mind. I thought Danny's theory was out there.
It was a little out there.
Yeah.
But then it made me think, sorry, just quick,
No.
the Patronus
Yeah.
that she had before, because Snape was like, your Patronus is looking
Yeah,
a
good
little
point.
weak.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what was her Patronus before?
Yeah.
Or was it always that and it just looked like a smaller, weaker version? But I'm assuming it became a werewolf.
Right. But what was it
Patronus.
before if a werewolf is a downgrade?
Again, this is going to prove to you that the form doesn't matter. Her prior form, which doesn't matter at all, but was a jackrabbit.
We
Interesting.
knew this?
No, we don't know this. I had to look it up.
Oh.
But Snape, that's fascinating. But Snape was saying he literally
have a
saw
hair?
more.
It's not the animal itself.
Ooh, it's just like me. I'm a brown hair.
Yeah.
So that's why, yeah, you're a brown hair. It doesn't. The animal itself doesn't matter. It's like the memory that you're choosing to cast and how powerful, how like luminous, I guess.
So that's what
It
Snape
is.
was saying
How
it's
corporeal.
weaker.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Because she's not able to muster up her full happiness at
Yep.
that moment. That's why it's weaker. It's
That makes
not
a lot
because
of
of the
sense.
animal, because the wolf is
Do
stronger
you
than.
think that he knew that? Snape?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Snape,
think-
now I think Snape knows more than most.
Yeah.
Well, because he read her mind.
Yeah, he might have, honestly. He might have been
Ooh,
employing
man, you're
occlumency
right.
at that moment.
And just
Or illegitimacy, yeah.
even if he couldn't read minds, just picked up on she is not in the best spot, and so he's jabbing. You're looking a little frail, a little weak. You know,
Time to.
time to poke.
Yeah.
Um,
But isn't that such an
I
interesting thing?
cannot
The it turns into like a big shaggy figure in your Sirius Black. It could have been Sirius Black the
Yeah.
dog,
Yeah.
or you don't know it's the wolf also. So it's like two of them, almost the same animal.
Yep.
It's a great
but
little
then she's a shift. What is she?
metamorph Magi,
That.
anamorph Magi.
But then I was like, so does it matter if she gets bit? She just could change.
oh, meaning like
Yeah.
if she was a werewolf.
There's lots of theories
she
on that actually. What
control
happens
herself
if someone like Tonks gets bit by a werewolf? If they could actually change, because they mentioned something in this where Bill, like the wounds are gonna run too deep, like they're like cursed wounds.
Right, they're never gonna heal.
Yeah, they think the same might be true of Tonks, but no one really knows that. That's actually a really interesting question.
But yeah, because she was changing appearances a lot,
Yeah.
so I was like, that would be interesting.
Right.
Maybe it wouldn't affect her the same.
Do you think that they should get together, Lupin and
Oh
Tonks?
yeah, big time.
I don't know.
Do you know what the
either of
age
them
gap
well.
is between them?
You know, I was thinking that too. It must be. I mean, we could do the actual math.
15 years.
It's 13 years.
Oh, nice,
Well,
nice.
it's
I was gonna
close.
say it
Yeah.
sounds a little high.
I
but
wasn't even calculating.
excellent.
Threw out a number.
13 years. I don't think that's too much. I do think it's a lot, but in these times,
Oh.
it's not too much.
In Times of War, do you think that
But no
Lupin actually
baby
wants to be with Tonks?
werewolves.
Sorry, I got
like-
distracted with baby werewolves.
It's like the scene in Shrek. You ever seen Shrek?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Little
yeah.
donkey dragons
Yep.
flying around.
That is
Oh
great.
yeah! Wait, I forgot about that.
I haven't seen that in like forever.
I know, we gotta watch that again.
Oh
It's a
my
great movie.
gosh, she had the long eyelashes, the dragon.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
Oh, I forgot. Wow, that was a throwback.
I know.
Nice,
Pulling
thanks.
things out of the hat. Do you think that Lupin actually likes Tonks though?
Oh,
So
big
Tonks
time.
clearly likes Lupin. Do you think Lupin likes
Big
Tonks?
I do.
time, he was like, it would never work, and he.
No, but I don't think he's saying it would never work. I think he's saying
Okay.
it's because he cares so deeply for her that he wants to protect her. It's way easier to shut someone down. If you want to shut someone down, you shut someone down. That's easy. But he didn't do that. He left the hope because he deeply wants it. That's the only reason she's still attached.
That's a great
It's
point.
very easy to clean break.
I think
But
only
this is
guys
not
know
that.
this.
He's fighting his
That's a
own
great
heart
point.
by trying to push her away, but not pushing hard enough to really push her away. And that's why she still has hope. So that's why I'm like, oh yeah, he's totally into this. But he just can't shove
Yeah.
her hard enough to hurt her, even if he kind of thinks it's what's best for her, because that's how much he cares. So anyways, yeah, always into it.
If you're closing the door, you're closing the door
really good.
hard.
Yep.
Hard stop. Like you're like, look, this will never happen. Stop doing this. This will never happen.
I'm not.
He never
interested.
says that with
Boom.
her. So I'm kind of the same opinion. That's like, I think that you nailed it. I think he has deep affection for her. But I think one of the toughest questions here is, is he being more loving by falling in love with her or by shutting her out? Because he has somewhat of a point. He lives a dangerous life. He's poor. And none of the poor stuff, some of the things that he mentioned are stupid. Like the poor, I feel like you can deal with that. The too old, there's like a slight point on that as well.
Yeah, where he's like, oh, 13 years
Yeah,
is 13
for sure.
years.
13
Yeah.
years is a big difference.
Right. I don't think it matters.
Hmm.
For the same reason I didn't think it mattered when Harry was breaking up with Ginny.
How old is she right now?
She's probably around like 23.
Okay, yeah, so it would be a bigger deal for him, I think.
Hmm.
Thinking of it from the perspective of the older one, the young, because like when I was younger, I had crushes on, I had older brothers, so I always had a crush on like an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not that big, but like you know, that happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so from the younger standpoint, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Maybe, correct me. I don't know. But like, I feel like it would be a bigger deal for him. So he would
Oh, for
kind
sure.
of use that
For sure.
as an excuse.
Yep.
Kind of going off what you said, because I definitely agree with you.
But I don't think he
Yeah.
would necessarily use it as an excuse as so much. He's actually afraid of some of that kind of stuff. There's like a whole lot more responsibility. Like someone who's younger, they're infatuated with the person, but someone who's older has the bulk of the responsibility, and they have to like figure out if that's like actually appropriate or not.
Mm.
I don't know.
And he's
Yeah,
half
you're
That's why I was
werewolf.
asking how old she was.
I know, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
young.
and it does
know?
it does matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I do think that Lupin does love her, but I don't know. There's a lot of strange stuff that goes on there.
Yeah. And then I think this concept has been seen in quite a few other like romance stories, but I can't think of any of them now, like movies or anything. Was that a thing in Twilight? I feel like it must have been. Edward's like, no, I can't. I'm too bad.
He's like thousands of years old though.
That's that.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of
That's
the
that
age
scene
thing. I
where
was just
he-
thinking of the thing where he wants to eat her. But
Well, that's that scene where he gets all mad. Right? And
What
he's,
does he
like,
break
bouncing
something?
from tree to tree or something.
bouncing from tree to tree, a
Wow.
regular Ewok.
He's like
Um,
yelling because of all that. I don't know.
But I
Whatever,
think
keep going.
either way, I tend to just, like Mrs. Weasley said, well, that's kind of up to her. She's willing to accept the risks. And then now I'm thinking, I wish Harry gave Ginny the same choice, you know? Things are going to get intense, but like...
Oh, that's
you know?
such a great
That would've
parallel,
been a
though.
good one.
Is because
Yeah.
Harry shuts someone out and Lupin, I guess, lets someone in a little bit.
Yeah.
But we see Harry's as being so noble, and Ginny even realized that. He's like, oh, she's like, it's for some stupid
Yep.
noble reason, isn't it? Why is Lupin's reason not the same? His is still
Yeah.
for a stupid noble reason. He's an undercover agent right now. He has a lot of risk on his shoulder.
Yeah.
He can't really give what he wants to Tonks. And I kind of sympathize with him a little bit. I think that's
and
like a
would that
valid-
help or hurt his mission?
For sure.
I tend to think it hurts the mission.
Yeah.
It's harder for him to be fully focused and engaged in being undercover. But I guess that's kind of shot now anyway because
Yeah.
Greyback knows.
Yep.
Right? Or maybe he wouldn't. Maybe Lupin looks totally different
Yeah, his
when he's a
werewolf
werewolf
form.
and he can go undercover like for the once a month werewolf meetup. I don't know.
Meet and greet, werewolf meet and greet.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, it's tough. But I also think if Ginny
Wait.
pushed harder, Harry would have caved. Maybe.
Do you think he would have?
A little bit, yeah. I hope he would have.
Yeah.
But you are more similar to him, so maybe you're right.
But it sounded like he barely made it out of there as it was. He's like, I can't look anymore. I can't say anything else. Like at the end,
Yeah.
it was like he was barely holding it together.
Yeah,
That's the
for
impression I
sure,
got.
yeah.
And I think if Ginny put up a fight like Tonks was, I feel like Harry would have been like, alrighty. Kind of like even what Harry did when he went to go to the Ministry at the end of book, was that 4?
But I think she's awesome.
No, you could go. She's also
That she's seen how dangerous it is. So like
Yeah.
even bringing it up, being like,
Yep.
it's already been so dangerous, and that if we are
Yes.
connected to each other, she's smart. So she's like, I think it is a smart thing to do, and we're gonna once you kill him, we'll get back together after.
yeah. Perfect plan. Excellent.
And there is
guess.
something too about Tonks, like that's weird. I can't say that Ginny's experienced more life than Tonks because she hasn't, but she's gone through a different circumstance of being possessed by Voldemort.
Oh my goodness.
So I think
yeah.
her situation she sees things more clearly, and she sees like the calculated risk in this. She's like, okay, she understands the situation. For Tonks, she's been through a lot. She's like an Auror. She's like one of the last Aurors that has been in this office for like 3 years. She's been like elected. Like she's an incredible witch, but I don't know if she actually knows the cost fully of this yet. Maybe a little bit, but I think Lupin probably understands it a little bit more,
Yeah,
and
you're
that's
right.
why he's so hesitant about this. He's like Harry. He's like hesitant about this whole thing, but then he's like, all right, fine.
But it's also like when he needs to focus, right? So like if you're focused on a person that you love, you're not fully focused on the mission, right? Harry would be
Yeah.
like double dipping and protecting and going
Yep,
after
exactly.
him.
Yep. He would
And
be half
I
in,
don't
half
think
out, yeah.
Lupin and Tonks have that same Wow, I really can't talk tonight.
Yeah, like they actually might be stronger together.
Mm.
Or are you not saying
No,
that?
I'm saying it's not important. Their role is not as important as Harry's.
As Harry's, yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I was trying to say. Like
I feel like
they're-
Lupin would need help after being a werewolf, coming back and having
Could
some rough
Tonks
days.
turn into a fake werewolf?
Ooh, that'd be cool. She could
And
join
then
him.
she could join him.
So-
And then he would
Intense.
invite her.
she's not a animagus.
Shapeshifter. Well, maybe she could become one.
Yeah, but it would take I remember the whole process for becoming an animagus.
Ooh, that'd be intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
You
guess
just do the
maybe she
time
can
turn
only
and go back in
shapeshift
time.
into things
And
that
then
are the
forward.
same mass as her. She can't add mass, so she'd be a very tiny werewolf.
Whatever. I like my
don't
theory.
Um,
That's fine. Tiny werewolf. As
Yeah.
long as she looks the part.
It's just a very hairy lady. She's just a very hairy lady walking in there.
yeah, it didn't work.
Here's another line that we get.
Like,
When
moving on.
they're Rufus Scrimgeour comes and talks to Harry.
Ooh.
Harry, or no, this is actually I think McGonagall. Who is this? Harry, she said, I would like to know what you and Professor Dumbledore were doing this evening when you left the school. I can't tell you that, Professor, said Harry. Why doesn't Harry tell more people, and should he tell more people about
I
this?
know,
Should he tell
that's what I was,
everyone
like,
about what's going on
trying to
now?
think back. I'm like, did Dumbledore actually say don't
Mm.
tell anyone? I couldn't remember. You have
Interesting.
notes, so.
He mentions that with one thing that is coming to the top of my head, where he says, Harry asks if he can talk about the memories with Ron and Hermione, and Dumbledore thinks for a second and then says, like something like, yes, I think it's wise that you talk to them, but he doesn't let him talk about the memories with anybody else. But does that translate then to this moment? Did Dumbledore say something else?
Did Dumbledore say something
Like,
else?
don't communicate this to anybody else.
I don't remember that, so I'm not sure. But maybe he
Yeah, I
wants.
don't remember it
he
either.
doesn't want anyone else to know. It's the
Yeah.
Harry thing.
He seemed to approve of the way Harry handled Scrimgeour the first time at Christmas, but things have changed now. I don't
yeah,
know.
McGonagall. I thought she should know, but
And yeah, I would think McGonagall should know. Harry's being very closed off about it, but he has no plan. He just is he's taken the noble approach, and maybe it's good to take a little time and like come up with a plan first. But looping in the Weasleys, McGonagall, Lupin, I feel like that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't a full plan, but just enough to kind of, pick their brains about what to do.
Do you think he's
I don't know.
subconsciously holding back because no one believed him about Snape?
Yeah.
Like maybe he doesn't even
Yeah.
realize he's doing that?
Yeah,
It's a
could be
great
true.
point.
Because he fought this whole book like he was against
Yeah.
Snape, and
Yep.
everyone just kept pushing back. Like, nope.
That's a great point.
He's just been a kid. They've been dismissing it.
But this is the last line in the chapter, which is terribly sad.
Oh boy.
Dunno, said Harry, lying back in his bed fully clothed, staring blankly upwards. He felt no curiosity at all about RIB. He doubted that he would ever feel curious again. As he lay there, he became suddenly aware that the grounds were silent. Fawkes had stopped singing. And he knew, without knowing how he knew it, that the Phoenix had gone, had left Hogwarts for good, just as Dumbledore had left the school, had left the world, had left Harry. On to chapter 30, the White Tomb. Someone give me a quick summary, unless Danny has anything else in this chapter.
Always. I get distracted with my footnotes as I go through. I'm glad Dumbledore is at Hogwarts, even in death.
Yeah.
He specifically wanted to be laid to rest there. And then I'm like, that feels good. It feels comforting. Harry is the only eyewitness. Interesting.
Dad, you want to take a summary?
Okay, yeah. Let's do.
Go for it. Yeah.
Let's do the White Tomb. Summary of the White Tomb.
What?
I just had a moment by myself.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm trying to
I don't even know what's
decipher what
happening.
this is.
So I should do the summary? Is that what I'm gathering?
yes.
Go.
Go.
This is the wind down conclusion, final
Yes.
chapter of the book. Dumbledore's funeral, sadness. Harry turns down Scrimgeour again. Harry and Ginny break up for noble reasons. And that's it.
Ginny breaks up with Ginny for noble reasons. So here's one of the first lines. There might still be as many as 4 Horcruxes out there somewhere, and each would need to be found and eliminated before there was even a possibility that Voldemort could be killed. He kept reciting their names to himself as though by listing them he could bring them within reach. The locket, the cup, the snake, something of Gryffindor or Ravenclaws. Any further ideas on what the Horcruxes could be? So how many are we assuming that there are?
I'm half believing Dumbledore
Okay.
that there are 6, but I also think 7 honestly made more sense to me
Okay.
from the very beginning of like Voldemort is saying 7 is a magical number, and I think of his actual body as being a separate thing for some reason.
Yeah.
So the idea of 7 Horcruxes sounds like right.
So let's
But if
try to.
Dumbledore's right though, maybe it's only 6.
Okay, so let's try to do 6, and then you can throw a 7th one onto that you might think another object is.
Well, the 7th could just be Gryffindor and Ravenclaw,
Okay.
rather than
Interesting.
or Ravenclaw.
Does each? So that's another interesting one. We'll come to that one in a second. But is the sword? Is there only one magical object of each person, like founder? Because if it's a sword, is a sword a Horcrux? I don't know if the sword is a Horcrux. It's
I
not
don't know
really
how it
guarded by
could be,
something.
but maybe it could be. Maybe you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
How do you even identify a Horcrux?
Yeah.
Harry doesn't know anything.
I know.
We don't know anything.
I know. So
I'm like,
you guys know a little.
yeah,
bit.
we know a little bit. We're like Horcrux pros.
So
but,
let's try to identify 6 Horcruxes now, and then maybe
Locket,
so
cup,
locket, cup,
snake,
snake.
something of Gryffindors or Ravenclaws.
So that's another one I'm just gonna add
I
on.
thought
Yeah, we'll add that
Snake
as
was
one.
taken off, though.
Oh, and then he says it again: the locket, the cup, the snake, something of Gryffindor or Ravenclaws.
But didn't
And
Dumbledore
then
take the snake off? Dumbledore said, "I don't think it's a snake anymore." Nagini, right?
he said that because we had discussed that a little. That seems funny. Like, how could it be?
No, Dumbledore said he's often been curious about the snake and its behaviors.
But then I thought he took it back.
I don't think so.
That was just me.
Maybe we had
You're
that
listening to a
discussion
different
at least.
audiobook.
But remember that Harry
Thanks.
saw from Nagini's eyes in the when
Yeah.
Mr. Weasley got attacked. So
Yeah.
at least a part of something with Voldemort is in Nagini.
Yeah.
Nagini. So there could be some truth to it. Ooh, actually, speaking of, I wonder if Harry got any glimpses of other Horcruxes. Could he? No, it doesn't really make sense, does it?
He probably
Um,
could have until he turned it off when he
Yeah.
had the
Yeah,
connection.
maybe. Huh.
All right, so the
But
locket,
what
the
if he
cup, the
got really
snake,
good at it?
something of Ravenclaw.
Wait, what
or
about the ring
Gryffindors.
though? Was one, right?
So the
It
ring
was one.
destroyed, and then
Wait, what does you have again? The
Locket,
locket,
cup,
cup,
snake,
snake,
something of Gryffindor or Ravenclaws. That's 4. The
the
ring.
ring. That's 5.
That's 5.
and then what was the other one that
Were there 2
was
lockets,
destroyed?
or
Oh,
this
the-
was the
the journal.
locket?
Yeah, the diary. Yeah.
yeah, the diary from
And then his body, if we're following
would
that.
be the 7th. Yeah.
So that would be the 7th. But let's throw the thing out and say there's one more. Is it just something of Gryffindor's that it could be, or is there another object out there that?
Another
there could be
object.
The tiara.
I could not have. That if he hid something at the Weasleys, this dude is next level.
And no, but there was another thing at in the room of requirement. There were 2 red flags in there. Wasn't there another tiara or a crown or and a bust that Harry put on top of the sorting or on top of the cabinet?
Bus.
A big bust. In fact, it's the night bus. I'm just thinking of all those types of objects. But none of them seem to be quite right. I'm worried about Harry's invisibility cloak
As a Horcrux.
a little bit, because I'm still thinking back to the theory that Voldemort wanted to make a Horcrux the night he was going to kill Harry.
Interesting.
And
yeah.
so I'm thinking of what else was in that vicinity potentially. Even though Dumbledore had it, we now know, but Voldemort maybe didn't know that.
Yeah.
So was there anything else that Harry would have had? Harry's glasses. No, he wouldn't be wearing those at 1 year old. His face has grown since then. Unless there's a spell to grow your glasses.
What about his scar? Didn't we bring that up?
Harry's
Yeah, you
forehead
brought
is a
that up.
Horcrux.
Yeah, Jen brought that up. Yeah.
Does that sound weird when you say it like that?
No, it just sounds funny the way you said it. I'm like, huh. His skin is a Horcrux.
The skin on Harry is a Horcrux.
Because there's like something to that, but we don't know how a Horcrux is really created.
You seem to know.
No, we just know it all happens with murder. But then, the other thing I said
And
was the
heartbreak.
basilisk fang could have absorbed some of the thing and become a Horcrux maybe
Yeah.
during the
Oh,
stabbing.
Man, I love your dad.
The sorting hat is old, potentially, but I don't. It has its own personality. I don't think it
Yeah.
can be a
Just
Horcrux.
go on and on by himself.
I'm just brainstorming now.
love
Anything's
it.
possible.
It's great.
But what else? What else could be a Horcrux? What have we seen in this crazy world?
Shoes, pants.
You know,
a
it's
hat,
not bad.
A wand, a hat,
How do you know
a
it's not
cloak,
that?
You know what? It could be. It mentioned Harry's sneakers in
a
this.
cat, the phoenix.
A cat.
Here's another random question. Do you think that the real locket is destroyed, or is it still out there somewhere?
It
I hope
seems
it's
to be
destroyed.
that it was going to be destroyed. We don't know though. If RIB was doing his thing, he should have destroyed it. He could be already dead,
Mm.
But destroyed.
but I don't think so. I think he's alive, but I think he destroyed the locket. But how did he not know what Dumbledore was up to? He's really just he's Batman, cloak and dagger stuff. He's doing his own thing, a regular vigilante.
Well, he probably was in between the memories that Dumbledore was finding. Like, he didn't know he needed memories of this guy that would
Yeah.
be intercepting these Horcrux
Hmm.
hiding places.
Yeah, I'm very curious. That's going to be a fun start to the next one. Could Voldemort... And I'm just still thinking Voldemort wanted to be at Hogwarts. So something at Hogwarts, I'm assuming, was to make a Horcrux. And he maybe never got a chance to do it. Maybe he did. Maybe Snape got it for him. Something else in the dungeon. I don't know.
Because another thing that, again, Harry's going to regret a lot of things that he didn't ask Dumbledore, but
Yeah.
he says, I should have shown the book to Dumbledore, said Harry, which he should have. That annoys me so much.
Yep.
All that time he was showing me how Voldemort was evil when he was at school, and I had proof Snape was too. So he's thinking it in proof to how Snape is evil, but he had so much that he should have shown and asked Dumbledore about,
Yep.
and he just didn't. So he's going to have probably a lot of questions that he's going to regret not asking Dumbledore.
But then Hermione made it seem like no one would have thought that
Yeah.
it was evil, which
Exactly.
was true.
Yep.
Hmm.
No.
Everyone's regretting that. But then this happens. The crowd continued to swell. With a great rush of affection for both of them, Harry saw Neville being helped into a seat by Luna. Neville and Luna alone of the DA had responded to Hermione's summons the night that Dumbledore had died, and Harry knew why. They were the only ones who had missed the DA most, probably the ones who had checked their coins regularly in hopes that there would be another meeting. I love them so much. You think Luna and Neville are gonna end
That
up
it was
together,
cute. I
right?
thought I was like, oh, that's good.
Oh, that'd be great. These are small little glimpses. Neville is kind of a side character in this, but you understand kind of why he's one of my favorite characters still. He just is so loyal and so brave. I love this kid. What do you guys think of Umbridge at the funeral?
Ay.
Do you think she's going to come back and run the school next year? Is the ministry
I
that
sure hope
tainted?
But she could be the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher again.
No, she can't because it's a cursed position. You can't.
Yeah, I
do
guess
that.
you can't
I guess
do it
maybe
again.
every other year, maybe you can do something like that.
Yeah. I don't want her near the school at all.
Yeah.
Is it too bold to just hope McGonagall runs the school
Yeah, right?
and none of the ministry
But
interferes
it's
at
gonna
all?
be open.
I think so.
But then Ron and Hermione.
It's good literary
were
content.
Like, we're not going back to school either.
Nah, they don't know. They don't know what's up. They're
Okay.
mourning.
So here is another line that I want to talk about, and this is going to be a very meta question for this whole series. And then, without warning, it swept over him. The dreadful truth, more completely and undeniably than it had until now. Dumbledore was dead. Gone. He clutched the coal locket in his hand so tightly that it hurt, but he could not prevent hot tears from spilling in his eyes. He looked away from Ginny and the others and stared out over the lake toward the forest as the little man in black droned on. There was movement among the trees. The centaurs had come to pay their respects too. They did not move into the open, but Harry saw them standing quite still, half hidden in the shadows, watching the wizards, their bows hanging at their sides. Harry remembered his first nightmarish trip into the forest, the first time he had ever encountered the thing that was then Voldemort, and how he had faced him. And now he and Dumbledore had discussed fighting a losing battle not long thereafter. It was important, Dumbledore said, to fight and fight again and keep fighting, for only then could evil be kept at bay, though never quite eradicated. Meta question for this.
Sounds terrible.
Will Harry win this fight? Do you have any doubt in your mind that Harry will win this fight?
No.
I think good will win. I don't know that Harry will.
Interesting. Okay. Oof.
It sounds so like defeating what Dumbledore, like, you keep it at bay.
Well, yeah, right. And that's what I'm thinking. Even if Harry has to die to defeat evil, it's worth it. And same for Dumbledore. And Dumbledore knew that. There are things much worse than death.
Yeah.
And to the well-organized mind, I mean, right? So
death is just the next great adventure, you know?
So Dumbledore's off on great adventures. So we'll see. But I wouldn't be that surprised if Harry had to die in the process for good to win.
Yeah.
And he would do it willingly.
Right. I go back and forth between the
Yeah, me too.
he wins, he's on top, or that he dies and it was for a good cause.
For the greater good, as
The
you guys
greater
always say.
good. On 640, Harry's having pity for Malfoy.
Yeah,
So weird.
I know. Harry's going through the gambit of emotions right here.
But the tiniest drop of pity mingled with his dislike.
There's so many great lines and sad lines in this chapter. I love this chapter because it's just so sad. But another line pops up, and Harry saw very clearly as he sat there under the hot sun how the people who cared for him had stood in front of him one by one, his mother, his father, his godfather, and finally Dumbledore, all determined to protect him. But now that was over. He could not let anybody else stand between him and Voldemort. He must abandon forever the illusion that he ought to have lost at the age of 1, that the shelter of a parent's arms meant that nothing could hurt him. There was no waking from his nightmare, no comforting whisper in the dark that he was really safe. That was all in his imagination. The last and greatest of his protectors had died, and he was more alone than he had ever been before. Oh, that's rough. And then he breaks up with Ginny right after that to make him more alone. Is he right to break up with Ginny?
A little bit.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's protecting her. I can't be involved with you anymore. We've got to stop seeing each other. We can't be together. It's been like something out of someone else's life these past few weeks with you. But I can't. We can't. I've got things to do alone now.
Man, it's kind of
Does
dumb.
he have to do things alone?
No, he didn't have to go to the Ministry of Magic alone. He
Yeah.
brought his boys with him.
But he
And
is a
he could do
martyr.
it
Harry
again.
is a martyr in
He
some
is.
sense. He wants to do things on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wasn't even expecting Hermione and Ron to come either.
Yep.
So it's like,
Yeah.
And they forced their
like
way
you
right
said,
in.
typical Harry.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry does have that in him where when he talks about this with his friends, he says, "I'm not coming back even if it reopens," said Harry. Ron gaped at him, but Hermione said sadly, I knew you were going to say that. But then what will you do? I'm going back to the Dursleys once more because Dumbledore wanted me to, said Harry. But it'll be a short visit, and then I'll be gone for good. And Harry kind of explains what he's going to do after that. He's going to go to, what's the town called? Like, I'm blanking on it.
Hogsmeade?
No.
Diagon Alley?
Nah. He's going to go to the town where his parents died.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
With an
This
H?
is
I mean,
so...
if you-
I don't know if I really knew it. I'll go find it right
cannot
now.
believe
But
I'm forgetting this. I'm blanking on this. I have Alzheimer's.
Godric's
selective
Hollow?
also. Yes. He's going to go to Godric's Hollow. Thank you. And then he's going to hunt Horcruxes. So we know kind of what he's going to do. But he's not doing this alone because obviously, do you think Ron and Hermione are going to be with him, right?
I feel like they have to.
I feel like Hagrid would
They
also.
seem to think so.
Hagrid would be kind of a good follow-up, yeah.
With his brother, his half-brother. That would be good.
There was a moment where
We'll go
Gronk
with you
was in the
wherever
back
you're
and he was
going.
patting Hagrid on like the head.
Oh, yeah,
and he
that
was like
was cute.
knocking his
I thought that was
chair into
so
the ground.
sweet.
Right?
Yep.
Because it was just a testament to Hagrid's mission
I
to
know.
humanize his brother.
Yeah,
And he did it.
I know.
Aw.
Yep.
In front of
That was
Umbridge
so
too. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
love that.
I like that Tonk's hair miraculously returned to the vividest
Yeah.
pink. So I guess romance in the air there, huh?
Yep.
So the little tufty haired man in plain black robes who stood in front of the body, was that Aberforth? Because when I read this, that I assumed it was, but then
You
he
got
seems
goat
so
vibes.
boring that I was like, maybe he's, I'm not getting goat vibes. You know what I mean? It's like,
Tufted haired man.
or maybe,
a little
right?
tough like a
And-
goat
but at
tuft.
first I was
That's
like,
funny.
I just assumed if a person is going to
He would
stand up
pick up
and
on it.
and say something, wouldn't it be his relative? Wouldn't it be Aberforth?
Yeah. So you think Aberforth is the one that's speaking?
I assumed it was.
And Harry doesn't
But
really-
then it didn't. Nothing else came of it, and
Yeah.
it felt like Harry couldn't even hear what he was saying. And then it said odd words, and I was like, "Ooh, odd words. That's a Dumbledore thing right
Yeah.
there." You know. But then the words did not seem that odd. Nobility of spirit, intellectual contribution, greatness of heart. I just felt kind of boring. Not very Aberforth,
Yeah.
but maybe it was.
Maybe Aberforth is the boring sibling.
Maybe.
Do you think that Aberforth is going to pop up in the next book?
Well, yeah, because like
Could he
I
be
was.
R.A.B.?
I
Could
don't
Aber-
think so, but he could because Aberforth could be his middle name, but he goes by that because he's a junior.
And then again,
And
I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not confirming or denying anything. But it was, remember Dumbledore's full name? Albus
Percival, Wulfric, Brian,
Brian
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. Maybe Brian is their real last name or a different last name. So could it be Aberforth
Could be.
Brian? And you don't know what the R is.
Yeah, it definitely
Or could it be three people? R.A.B.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a
Wow, I
great
didn't even think
point.
about that. You're totally right. And Aberforth is the second person,
Because Harry could
and
be
B would be.
It's like a trifecta. That's like
Let me check my notes.
H.R.
We got any good B's up in here?
squared R. R.H. squared.
Barnabas
doing-
Cuff, Barty Crouch, Bellatrix, Benji Fenwick, Bertha Jorkins, Bertie Higgs, Bill Weasley, Blaze Zabini, Bob
Bertie Bots.
Ogden, Bodie Broderick. There's not a lot of good B's.
strong B's out there.
Bodie's
yeah.
dead.
Bill Weasley. That's not a bad one.
But interesting. I wouldn't be that surprised if Bill was doing secret missions.
Yeah. Yeah. Here is the last line in the book, and it's a lovely little line. Or it's a long paragraph, sorry.
It's a lovely little line of a page.
We'll be there, Harry, said Ron. What? At your aunt and uncle's house, said Ron. And then we'll go with you wherever you're going. No, said Harry quickly. He had not counted on this. He had meant them to understand that he was undertaking this most dangerous journey alone. You said to us once before, said Hermione quietly, that there was time to turn back if we wanted to. We've had time, haven't we? We're with you. Whatever happens, said Ron. But, mate, you're going to have to come around my mom and dad's house before we do anything else. Even Godric's Hollow. Why? Bill and Flora's wedding, remember? Harry looked at him, startled. The idea that anything as normal as a wedding could still exist seemed incredible and yet wonderful. Yeah, we shouldn't miss that, he said finally. His hand closed automatically around the fake Horcrux, but in spite of everything, in spite of the dark and twisting path he saw stretching ahead of him for himself, in spite of the final meeting with Voldemort, he knew he must come, or he knew must come, whether in a month, in a year, or in 10. He felt his heart lift at the thought that there was still one last golden day of peace left to enjoy with Ron and Hermione. Oh, man. Great. So you think he's going to go at this alone, or is he going to go with Ron and Hermione?
Not alone.
I don't think he would get that far on his own, to be honest. He's good. We like Harry, but he depends on Ron and Hermione more than he realizes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think whatever ancient magic.
Ooh.
I feel like he's always been lucky with encounters that when he didn't have them either. Like
Yeah, you're right. And he does do pretty well, even on his own. He's done a lot. So I don't want to put him down, but I do think he is better with Ron and Hermione.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And I just hope he's with them because that'd be so fun.
Yeah.
And it's lonely. It's not fun. They're gonna be like.
Well, it's fun for
dying.
us.
Yeah. It's fun as a read. It's not fun for them. What are they going to be doing?
yeah.
How are they going to be hunting Horcruxes? I mean, like, I don't...
Yeah, I like.
Where are
how do you do it?
Horcruxes?
Hermione is the researcher detector. Ron is just like backup support, and Harry is the go-getter.
And are they going to go
What?
find RED?
I am going to come to Ron's defense a little bit. I think the movies taint our understanding of who Ron is
True.
significantly. Ron is not an idiot.
I didn't say
Even in this
he
line,
was
I
an
know for
idiot.
sure. But you just said he's going to tag along. Or
I
something.
don't know.
Like,
I
he's
said
just
he's
a
his
bonus guy.
backup.
Yeah,
you
for
need
sure.
you need someone to have your back.
That's true. That's true.
All
But it's a
right,
good
well.
term. Because even in this line, Ron is like the one that initiates it. He's
words
like,
in
"We're
my
gonna come
mouth.
with you." Huh?
What?
Yes, Ron.
You guys, we're coming with you, laddie.
I like
Nice.
Ron.
Just
I
doing
just
Lord of the
haven't
Rings
seen
reference.
him do something on his.
I'm so delirious
On
right now. I'm
his
gonna laugh
own?
at anything.
Excellent.
Well, it makes me feel good, so keep doing
It's like
it.
that definitely wasn't in the book, right? I remember that line.
Yeah. What's in store for this group?
You know what?
So what is Ron gonna do, John? What I don't.
No, Ron is
his
good.
his skill set though is just like.
He was fighting a
Like-
Death Eater by himself in the castle.
But he took the Felix Felicis.
Yeah.
They
Well,
all
maybe
did.
he let the girls take more than him. We don't know,
I'm
but
just
either way,
saying.
he was
I'm not.
fighting a
I
Death
like
Eater.
Ron too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
He is like.
What is his skill?
So,
I don't know.
do you think that
He's
Harry
really
and
good at encouraging.
and chess
Yeah.
and defeating
great
fully
at
grown
wizard's
mountain
chess?
trolls.
Yeah. He's not. He's nowhere near as skilled as Hermione or even Harry. I think Harry probably has a little bit more luck and just like raw potential than Ron does. But I do think that Ron is kind of the binding glue of the group in a way. Like it's exactly what you said.
Oh, you're just saying.
He is an absolute great backup. He is like a
Right,
perfect
right.
support system for both of them. And I think without
Maybe
them,
should
I think
said
Harry.
backbone,
Yeah.
not backup. Would
Yeah.
that help?
Yeah,
too?
there it is.
Not
The
have-
backbone
So
of the
much
group.
better.
That's it. I think Ron is the backbone of the group. That's perfect. Because I think Harry and
Jumped
Hermione
down my
would go
throat.
far intellectually, but I don't know. I think they would go pretty far, but I think they need Ron. They need like this.
I feel like he's kind of
humanizing
like common
figure.
sense.
Yeah.
And then the other two are like in their own world.
Yeah, right?
Like
Yeah, yeah.
bring them. He grounds them.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe.
So good.
I'm so glad you love my word choices for once.
I love your descriptions of Ron. You always have such great descriptions of Ron.
Oh yeah.
Did we ever know Godric's Hollow before now? That felt like the first time I had heard that
Yeah.
placed.
I think we have heard it
It must have been a
once
subtle
or twice
reference
before, just a
way
small
back when.
reference. Yeah.
in the first
Because
book.
it somehow just felt new. I was like, he said it as if
Yeah.
we knew it, and I was like, what?
That means it was new.
And it's weird how he
know.
lets Ron and Hermione come with him, but that's exactly why he broke up with Ginny.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I'm like,
yeah.
oh man, it's just kind of
Yeah.
lame.
But yeah, that's a great point. maybe there is a
I'm
little
so
bit of
glad
difference
you would
there.
take me to go fight things.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're a strong, powerful woman, and I want you by my side.
To
Answer,
be your
Danny.
backbone.
It was also funny that Harry said on 6:45, he said he was more alone than he had ever been before. And
Yeah.
in a weird way, I thought that was touching, that he has almost forgotten his years with the Dursleys before coming to school.
Yeah.
There is no way this is more alone.
Yeah.
He's got friends. He knows about his parents now.
But I don't know how. I mean, you can for sure get alone when you're a kid, absolutely. But it's a different kind of loneliness. It's like a fear
Yeah,
of
you're
being
right.
alone,
You're
rather
right.
than like the existential fear of being alone. You know?
He also
Yeah, it's
didn't-
like more
He
real.
also
Yeah.
didn't really have people that he
He didn't even know he
cared.
was alone.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm.
Yeah,
trying to
really.
say.
He doesn't have. Yeah.
Like
Yeah, he had
like
no
at
one.
the Dursleys before he went to Hogwarts.
He has nothing, so he has no hope.
Right. Well, kind of.
Now he has people, so he has hope.
And
he
then
gets
he
Yeah.
alone
lost
because of
one,
it.
and that's
Yeah.
why he
And
felt
like
alone.
he lost his parents, but he never really knew them. So now like he has people in his life,
Mm.
and he like Dumbledore he was so close with. So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's thoughts in here. They're not really translating.
No, you're
I'm just
sounding
gonna
great
stay
right now.
quiet.
Keep going.
You don't want me to. It's not gonna make sense.
Anything else in this chapter before we hit some larger questions?
I don't
Oh.
think so.
I loved Seamus fighting his mom.
Yeah.
Oh, that
right.
was
Stay for
good.
Dumbledore's
That's a great
funeral.
full circle for
Yeah.
him.
Just a
so
little
true.
moment, but that was cool.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah, that is really good.
I also
And
didn't like that it ended
Harry.
with Harry jinxing the wedding. One more golden day of peace to enjoy with Ron and Hermione. I'm like, don't say that. Knock on wood. You can't say something like
Would
that.
do that. So you
think
Like
all
we're
hell's
gonna have
gonna
a
break
red
loose at the
wedding,
wedding?
right now. You don't do that.
The red wedding.
It's like
no!
ridiculous. Because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, it's so sweet. There's gonna be a wedding. That's great. What a way to open the next
That's
book.
so funny.
And then he immediately is like saying all this stuff. I'm like, okay, chill, Harry. Don't like build it up too much, you know? Because now I'm like, great. How bad is this wedding gonna go?
Voldemort is the veil comes back, and it's really Voldemort.
Oof.
My veil.
But fitting timing for our wedding.
Beekeeper.
Okay, here's Go ahead.
Last thing too is that it seemed as though there wouldn't have been a funeral at all if Harry didn't say, "So when are we doing the funeral for Dumbledore?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they were just.
They had
kinda like,
no plans for
Oh,
it.
none.
so
They're like, we're
funny.
staying for the funeral, right? And they're like, oh
funeral?
yeah, shoot, gotta
Yeah, I
start
guess
planning
that's
that.
a good idea.
Yeah, Harry has good moments where he does think more logically than a lot of even adults. Like he's like,
Yeah, you're
okay, we
right.
need to do this. Like you're seeing his maturity a lot and how he like organizes his mind and how he knows almost what to expect because he's been through a lot more stuff than
Yeah, that's what
even some of the adults. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's probably been through a lot more than some of them. He's like, okay, this is what happens when someone dies, guys. We have a funeral. The
And then
students
you
need to
can
stay.
Think clearly, like he's like over it maybe faster.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Or he's just used to multi
Yeah.
emotions.
I also was proud of Hagrid in these chapters because I think he found a really good balance of letting his emotions come out and being the classic Hagrid, but there were also some really mature moments of him being more of like father mode with Harry.
Yeah.
And like saying, Harry, we have to leave him now, and like pulling him away and things like that. That I thought it showed more underlying maturity than I sometimes give Hagrid credit for. So I thought that was cool. That was touching.
Yeah, that is really cool. How do you guys like this book? Give me a power ranking of the books so far.
I forget some of the titles.
I liked it.
Sorcerer's Stone.
Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince.
Did I like Order of the Phoenix better? I don't remember. I think so.
I did.
Because the
You liked Order of the
beginning-
Phoenix better
because the-
than you did Half-Blood Prince.
Because the beginning, right? That's where.
No, you like Goblet of Fire best.
Yeah, that
Goblet of
was-
Fire was the beginning, the chapter 1
Oh.
that was like with
But then I got a lot of answers in the last one too. Order of the Phoenix. I don't remember.
Yeah.
They're all a blur, John.
They're all a
What?
blur.
How is that
I
my
always
fault?
Not, you're asking me to tell you, and I'm saying they're all a blur.
I don't know. I go back and
I
forth.
remember chapters that I liked and didn't
Yeah,
like.
for sure.
Yeah,
That's easier for me to tell you than
Yeah.
and
books.
comparing is so hard. There's lots to like in all
Okay,
the
let's
books.
start.
I don't like the first two as much as I like the other ones.
Right? And that's why sometimes you tell people, that's why I tell people get through the first two. Because at this point in your reading experience, when you were reading the first two, you guys loved the first two.
Yeah,
You
you're
were
right.
obsessed with them.
Yep.
And then now you're past in book 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're like,
Those were
these
not
books are
bad.
incredible. Those books were nothing
Yep,
compared
yep.
to these, you know? But they're great entries into the world. So start with your, we're saying least favorite, but it's not your least favorite. It's still like, it's still a great book.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Start with your least.
Sorcerer's Stone.
Really?
Only I think it's because it was just like I could never get past it, so it was constantly repeating it over and over
It was
again.
the wall, yeah.
Which is it. But then I remember texting you guys being like, "It's so Harry's so funny," and like
Yeah,
all these
yep.
character traits. But I already knew the story. I felt like pretty good, so like I love learning new things. So
Yeah.
these other books were more
Yeah, for sure.
entertaining for me. So I would probably go in that like least would be first, second.
Okay. So hold there. Danny, what's your first and second least favorite?
Second is my least favorite, Chamber of Secrets. Then maybe the first one. But I love the first for other reasons. But as far as like story, now looking back, I think seeing where each one fits in the grand scheme of things, they seem so small. They were so short.
They were so short.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
Crazy.
Great. Remember you kept saying you're gonna love that there's
I
such
know.
thick like books, and then
So
you're
happy.
That's what I was saying. You're
Yep.
gonna. Don't you wish these were longer?
Absolutely. I'm like, no, there's only one left.
There's only one left. It's incredible. It's
the thickest
crazy.
one was the
Five.
five.
The
one.
thickest one in terms of length
Goblet
was
of Fire.
Order of the Phoenix. Like the largest one was
Oh.
Goblet of Fire because Goblet of Fire's font is slightly bigger than Order of the Phoenix is. But Order of the Phoenix is the longest book in the series. So keep going. What is 1 through 4 in your power rankings?
Meaning favorites?
Favorites to So 1 and 2 we'll just slide off
Oh.
as 6 and 5.
It's really hard for I cannot
I know.
decipher them. I remember like Prisoner Azkaban was cool because you could start learning about Sirius Black, and that was interesting because
Yeah.
at the end, right, is when you find out about Wormtail. So that is really.
They all
cool.
do mesh together really well,
The
but they
Goblet
also
of
are their own unique
Fire
book.
was just a cool concept of the whole game, and then Voldemort like comes back, so that's impact. I don't know. They're all
Yeah.
like the same. I think it's like I get annoyed with some characters, so then I don't like the book.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
well,
Umbridge.
Umbridge was annoying
Yeah,
in the
for
last
sure.
one. Snape pisses me off
Yeah.
in this because I was like rooting for him to be good.
I know. And it's tough because Umbridge gets hers, and in this book, Snape doesn't get his. So you're like, just the next book, I gotta
know.
wait.
I'm going to be curious about how this book fits in on future reads, because right now, looking back, I'm like, how much really happened in this book?
Not
It feels like
much.
not much
Yeah.
until the last 5 chapters when it was like Horcrux,
Yeah.
betrayal, death.
One
like,
thing after
and
another, yeah.
Man, it was a lot. But the rest of the book was a lot of anticipation.
Yeah. But it was a lot of information. It was information
Yeah,
of
a lot
who
of
Voldemort
information.
is.
Yeah.
With these memories.
I feel
Which
like
was
that was, like,
quiet,
half the book.
subtle.
I
Yeah.
feel like this book you really like live in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Which I loved.
I was gonna say this. I think this one is one of my favorites
Yeah.
because of that.
Yep.
It's not like crazy action and like
Maybe I was
driving
waiting for
it
things to
forward,
happen
but-
too much.
yeah,
Well, I always want answers. so.
yeah.
I'm going to say Goblet of Fire is my favorite.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then I'll say Order of the Phoenix. Then Prisoner of Azkaban. Then
Wow.
Half-Blood Prince.
Then Half-Blood
Wow.
Prince.
I
That's
think,
shocking
yeah.
to me.
And to
Okay.
be honest, there are days where I think the first book is higher. It might even be top 3, just because it was
Wow.
so charming
Yeah.
and great.
Yeah.
But like Jen said, it's hard to remember and differentiate, and then in hindsight, things start changing when you look back on
Yeah.
them. So I go back and forth.
I'm curious what your reread experience is going to be and where you're going to place these
Yeah.
after a reread. So that's going to be interesting. Jen, well, give me a quick one. What are?
don't know.
I know it's tough, but
All right, I don't know because Umbridge was annoying. Maybe Order the, but then there was information. I don't know. I like Prisoner of Azkaban. It would be like 2, 3. Number 1 maybe is Goblet of Fire 2.
Was so good.
Mm.
And then Order, I don't know. I don't remember Order of the Phoenix.
I know.
So how can I rank it?
Order of the Phoenix is literally just the DA and them trying to overcome Umbridge for like half the book. And
Yeah,
Umbridge
right.
just wouldn't die,
This,
and you're like,
and then Order of the Phoenix? Sure, we'll go with that.
I feel like that's pretty
What did I
reasonable.
say?
Yeah.
Goblet of Fire, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Half-Blood
This
Prince,
one.
Order of
Half-Blood
the
Prince,
Phoenix.
Order,
Yeah, let's
and
go with
then your least favorite 2, then 1,
Wow.
or 1 then 2.
that.
forgot.
Least favorite is 1.
Hmm.
I like 2 because that one just stuck out because it was more the movie than the book,
Mm.
maybe.
And you like the mystery
Yeah,
of it. It was more like a solving.
Yeah.
yeah. It
Yep.
wasn't just. I don't like building.
Solving thing.
Building worlds is
My words through my
not
hands.
my thing. Just get to the point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need all these details about what it looked like, the crinkle on their shirt, the color of their eyes. I'm like, just tell me who killed it, who did it, where.
Who did
I want to
it?
So
know.
opposite in reading.
Jen wants to read one
I'm like,
page.
what in the world?
He did it in this location and this with this weapon. He wants Clue.
Exactly. I want
Yeah.
Clue. I just haven't learned to enjoy that part yet.
Mm.
Maybe I never will.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so do you guys want to know the title of the last book, or do you want to wait?
I think I know it.
Say it if you think. Do you want Danny? Do you want it?
Yeah, lay it on me.
Deathly Hallows, Harry Potter, and the
Yep.
and the
I remember
Deathly
getting that
Hallows
book.
or
The
something.
Deathly Hallows.
Yeah,
So, what are?
the Deathly Hallows.
Mhm. What is it?
Hmm.
The Horcruxes, Hollows, where they
The
live,
Deathly Hallows.
and killing the Horcruxes in their hollows. Deathly
I like this.
Hollows.
This is
That's actually
good.
not bad, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
makes
not
a lot of
bad.
sense.
Backhanded compliment.
No, I think it's like an actual compliment.
Right.
One might be
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I promise it is. Yeah.
one might be Godric's Hollow. It is rather
Oh,
deathly.
Death.
Godric's
Oh,
Hollow
look
rather
at
than
you.
Hallows.
Oh, it's Hallow with an A.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is Hallow similar
Wait,
to
what
Hollow?
did I-
Is
It
a
could be the
place?
same. It could just be a different
Deathly
spelling. of it.
Hollows.
Hallows.
Hal-
H
oh,
A
so
L
I'm
L
saying it
O
wrong.
W S.
How do you spell Halloween?
But I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
now.
I'm like now I'm like a little bit like maybe I don't even really know what this
Wait,
means.
what does that
What
mean?
is a Hallow?
Yeah, what is a
Hallowed
Hallow?
Eves.
what?
Hallowed- Halloween is like Hallowed Eves. It's like a.
Okay.
So like haunted-ish
I
or
think.
like
I used to know it, but
Okay.
isn't it the day?
Wait, is it Hallow or?
It's the day
See?
before All Saints Day. So I think
Right,
they call
right,
it
right.
I
Hallowed
just looked
Eves.
up the definition of Hallow.
H.
Is that what we're
A-
No,
talking
no,
about?
no,
Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
look up the definition of Hallow.
No, 'cause that-
Halloween.
oh, we don't want to give away
Really?
too
we,
much.
can't even look up a definition of Hallow.
I'm
Oh.
glad you didn't say that.
Excellent.
Actually, tell me on the side.
But it's deathly. Whatever it is deathly, and there are multiple of them.
I love how you're just giving us definitions without saying I can't give you that.
Really like a definition of Halloween.
We'll figure it out later.
Hmm.
Do you have any other
So,
predictions
just
for what the
kidding.
Hallows?
Oh, yeah, interesting.
I
'Cause-
liked you. Well,
You like what?
I thought your theory was good until it was the wrong word.
yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know anything.
But could it also be
don't
like
know.
just everyone's dying?
Everyone's dying.
Death.
Well, you know what? I really thought this book was going to be more chaos.
Or
in
what
some
about
ways.
if it's somehow he can remember with the wand he was able to retrieve all the previous.
Mhm, Prairie Incantatum.
Yes, sure. He didn't explain that either, Dumbledore.
Yeah, he didn't explain
What
that
the
really well.
heck?
Yeah, not
Okay.
really. I don't think he knows much about it.
Yeah.
Well, he could have told him where to get information.
Yeah.
Anyways, it doesn't exist. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say.
You were getting excited about Prairie Incantatum and with the wands, and then how Voldemort was the people were
so
coming out of
maybe,
it.
but I was thinking, so in a version of the, I can't. can't think of anyone's name. The dead people that were in the lake. What were those called?
Oh yeah, the
The
Inferi.
Inferis.
Yeah.
So what if Harry is able to bring back the spirits that were killed to help fight off Voldemort? Like a Deathly Hollow.
Through the Death Veil
like
archway.
the death. I know, I
in
thought
the
of that too,
Ministry.
yeah.
Huh.
And it would probably be a lot of people.
That'd be interesting.
But
But
not
how?
in Inferi. Like how
Like
they
in a good
fought
way.
against
Good Inferi.
Lord Voldemort with the wands. Like they were holding back his power. So I wonder
Right.
if it could go into
Distracting him. That'd be interesting.
that. Not distracting him, like literally holding off.
Literally holding off. I don't remember it enough.
You don't remember that? What,
I didn't know
what
they
book
were
is
holding
that?
it off. I thought they were more.
That's the book I like. That
they
is
were
the
trying to
Goblet of Fire. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Goblet of Fire because that's at the end after Cedric died.
Yeah. The wand scenes.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
famous
Mm.
in the movie world.
In the movie world. I'm curious if Harry is going to be at school. I kind of think he's going to get back to school because he's going to figure out why Voldemort needed to be at Hogwarts as a teacher, and that's going to bring him back. And I'm curious if he's going to find RAB first, or all three of RAB, and
Or
then
Hermione's
together
gonna
they're going to
find-
do something, or if they're going to find the Horcrux and then find RAB because of that, maybe.
I would also love this book to jump back and forth, not just Harry's. I guess they can't do that. I'm not good with these literary themes or whatever, or how you write a book, or how to talk about a book.
You're doing great on this.
Yeah, I was going
podcast.
to say,
What were you
you have a
gonna
whole
say?
podcast.
Oh, let's go
about
back
it.
to
No,
that.
I
What's the
thought it
main
was-
theme of this book?
Ah, theme.
Oh shoot, we used to do
that
that.
was like the beginning.
Where it would jump from like evil and good in the book. That would be cool. Like
The
the
perspectives.
perspective of like Snape and then Harry and then Snape or Lord Voldemort and then Harry. Like that would be actually interesting.
Yeah,
That would be, but the books rarely come out of Harry's perspective.
it's true.
Wait, they what?
They rarely ever come out of Harry's perspective. The only times that we
Come out of Harry?
yeah,
Oh,
we're
like
in
liter-
first person.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought. Yeah, I'm not processing. I was like, they are coming from Harry's perspective,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
following.
The
what-
only chapters that aren't are
they
like
rarely come out of his
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
a little different wording. I
Let's.
should have
Can
worded
you
that
like
bad.
crop that out? or something?
Crop it.
Crop it. We're going back
Oh,
to the
man.
That's a
originals.
throwback to, yeah.
Oh,
Dusting off an oldie.
yes, I know that, but I'm just saying that's what I would like for the last book to be.
That would be fascinating. Yeah.
But obviously, it's not happening.
I mean, it's gonna get pretty hectic.
I wonder if Voldemort will infiltrate his brain again too,
Ooh, I hope not.
because he was getting the pain and stuff, and then it turned off.
Yep.
It would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It would be very interesting. There's a lot of fun stuff that we'll see in the next book. Then when we get to
A
it,
lot of fun stuff, or like actual fun stuff.
fun stuff for me.
Both.
Kristen's
Yeah, I
pointing
don't
at
even
me.
know.
This.
So that means people are dying and depressed.
No. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Deathly Hollows. Halloween.
So Danny's theory. Wait. Pause on, because Danny's theory was something like there's places that are hallowed because there's going to be a lot of death that happens in this book. For lack
Yeah,
of better
either
words.
things that happen or have happened in the past.
Okay. So like death that has previously happened. Like, are we talking like in Fury kind of thing? Like they're gonna rise to
I wasn't
power.
thinking about like Inferi and anything like that. I was just thinking of like graveyards, you know, like it's like again, just think Halloween, things like that, creepy stuff, like places where battles have happened in the past. I'm not thinking of the Inferi themselves, but just places where bad things have happened. Again, I was thinking of Godric's Hollow as being a place where people have died. So that's what I was kind of thinking, like deathly, like places where death has happened.
Okay. So this is maybe a weird question, but death has happened in the past 3 books. Do you think that we're gonna get a break from it, or will more people die?
I think more. I think it would tend to escalate. But I'm
Ditto.
glad there wasn't that much death in this book
Yeah.
because after Cedric died, I was worried every book was going to be more than the
Everyone,
last.
yeah.
And I was like, by book 5, book 6, book 7, there are going to be people dying every chapter. So somehow, again, she was able to keep it engaging and riveting and exciting without escalating the craziness too much until, of course, Dumbledore. So next book, people are dying. I don't know how many. 3, 4, 5, and who?
Yeah, who do you think would die in the next book, if anybody would?
Harry. One
Ron,
Weasley.
Hermione.
No, not Ron. It can't be
Oh my gosh, his face.
anyone but Ron or Neville.
No, not Ron. Hermione can go like this then.
Whoa.
No, that's how I'm projecting your thing.
Um,
Thinking, whatever.
you know what? She a little bit could, but I don't think she will.
But I'm like her.
You're like her?
She's like, don't kill me.
I would say Moody. He's a good candidate.
Not really. I just I don't like reading.
What'd you say?
I just processed. I was like, I'm like Hermione, and then I'm like, wait, I hate libraries, and I don't read books.
As long as you see, like,
in
yeah.
some
I just like to
ways.
follow rules.
Mm.
That's it. You were saying
Oh, that Moody could die. I don't want him to, but
Moody
he could.
exists.
Well, that's what I mean. Like people like that are like, you know, like I
You're
wouldn't
fine
be
with
that.
everyone in the Order of the Phoenix dying.
Not everyone, but like I wouldn't be that surprised if Lupin did and Moody and like.
Then Tonks goes crazy,
Oh man, that'd be intense.
and then she turned into a fireball.
But for whatever reason, when they're older, it's a little different.
Dragon.
But the kids, oh man, I hope kids don't
She's
die.
a shapeshifter. That's what's ingrained
into
in
a
my.
dragon.
You both are in your own world.
Yep.
Danny is going over death predictions, and
Jen's talking about Tonks becoming a dragon.
It's literally going back to Shrek.
And
She's gonna become
yeah,
Shrek
some of the
and
listeners
werewolf
just track with
babies.
one of us, some with the other,
What?
and half of them are lost. Sorry, guys.
No.
Let's go over the final 3, but we'll go over it for the entire book, not just these
Okay,
chapters.
yeah.
But if you want to just do these 3 chapters, you can. So who wins the House Cup for this entire book? It's hard to go back and try to remember all this kind of stuff, for sure.
Right.
'Cause-
Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I almost feel like you have to give it to Dumbledore.
Yeah, just because I think he did more than we even realize. As long as he wrote Harry at least a note or something.
Yeah.
I hope he has a will that clarifies some stuff. But without him, nothing would
Love
happen.
the
Poor
will.
Cruxes,
Yeah,
whatever.
Danny's like dying. He's like,
I'm like,
if we
there's
don't have
gotta
this will, I'm
be
gonna be
something.
furious.
Yeah, because like he's just gone, and same thing already happened
This
with
is how you're
Sirius.
coping.
But again, what the heck
There's
would he leave
nothing?
people? What does he have? What does Dumbledore have that he would leave
We
people? with?
tried that, right?
I know. Like
Oh
socks.
yeah, my
I
sock
thought
theory.
Fox was his. Too.
I know. I
Yeah.
thought that was his.
Fox is.
I don't
looks like
think
he's
Dumbledore
gone.
has a lot of earthly possessions, but also
Wisdom.
He might.
That's what you said.
He has wisdom.
He's
He
passing
leaves
wisdom down. Yeah.
But how many of these random things could be his in the office? Everything looked the same. I don't know. He might not have much at all, if anything. But I think
What happens to his
he
wand?
could have a vault at Gringotts.
He would give up his wand.
Yeah, where's his wand? Is it
That's what I'm
Didn't even
saying. Like,
mention
what
it.
happened to it? What happens to their
Harry?
wand?
No, Harry doesn't want it.
Do they recycle them and resell? They go on Poshmark.
And that goes back to
Maybe.
even our theory: is one more powerful now because another wizard's going to use it? Does it take time to like acquiesce to the new person? Is anybody
I
new going
would-
to use it, or is it just going to be buried in the ground? And
In
die
my
with
head,
them?
it actually got weaker since its owner got defeated.
Yeah.
Like, I would think the wand is less powerful now than before.
So Snape made the wand weaker.
yeah, maybe. Or
By killing him?
Malfoy.
No way.
Because
Oh,
Malfoy's the
Malfoy
one who
died.
disarmed
I
him.
can't even
Oh.
imagine that. How can Dumbledore's wand be weakened by any of these peewees?
Well, that, I don't know.
Well, if one of
Yeah.
the peewees disarms him.
That's what I'm saying.
But
It's
he
like-
also had 0 strength.
I know, but still, it's like,
I wish
He-
the wands could fight back solo.
yeah, without his owner.
I know what my owner would do.
What was that again, Jen?
Please make that a video.
Oh, and you know what else we learned? It confirmed that the spell that Harry was under when he was frozen by Dumbledore
Yeah.
went away when he died.
Yeah.
So did Dumbledore have any other spells that have now faded away to maybe reveal something?
Yeah, maybe
expose
protections on the
things
schools.
to
There's
show.
no protection.
No, I was thinking more in a positive way. Like now, Harry will something else will be released. It will like trigger a Rube Goldberg of information exposure. Something positive. You know, it's like the thing where you like flick a domino and it goes and hits something else, and something rolls down, and then You know?
Oh, that little like
Like a
yes.
chain
Yeah, like
reaction,
science
yeah, yeah.
experiment
basically.
kind of things. Yeah.
So I was
That's
just
the name
hoping
of
that
it? I never knew that.
this would
I
have
was
some
literally
kind
trying to
of.
figure out what he said.
I-
Rube Goldberg. You guys have never heard of a Rube
I
Goldberg?
whispered to him. I'm like, what is
My
that?
mind went
Is
Rube
that-
Goldberg. Goldbergs? Like the bagel
Like
place?
bagels.
I know
that's his
what that
first name.
is.
Rube.
But I didn't know that. Like Rubik's cube.
We both took different sides.
Okay, guys, wait, hold up. Answer.
Yeah.
Who wins the house cup for this one?
I
We got
already
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore
said.
for me.
Dumbledore,
Yeah.
raise our glass, Dumbledore. Okay, what's your
Cheers.
favorite moment in this book or in these 3 chapters? You can do these 3 chapters.
In the book.
Try to think of the entire book. That's
I
tough.
can't think
Ooh.
of anything right now.
You could just
I
do these
liked
chapters.
when Harry got the memory from Slughorn and was so proud, and Dumbledore was
Mhm.
proud of him too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was good.
yeah,
That was a good one.
that is a great.
And we
moment.
learned something.
Yeah, I think it was really fun to read the Horcrux stuff. The memory of even going back to what's their name? Voldemort's parents, his mother and
Oh yeah,
family.
that was interesting.
Yeah, like
yeah,
I think that whole thing in the Riddle House, I thought that was all fascinating. And then, but there was something even just about the end, maybe because it was most recent. It just felt so powerful. The funeral, even these other wizards had never seen a funeral like that. It like surprised people, you know. And then just the trio sitting under the beech tree. I feel like it was impactful, even if it wasn't like the most fun to read. So I don't know. I think because the end of the book was so big and important, it overshadowed some of the rest of the book in my mind right now, where now I'm just thinking of the moments we just read that were so important. Even the Harry versus Snape stuff, there was like just an energy there of like, why is this happening? And why is he not killing Harry? And like, what does Voldemort need Harry for now? And just so many mysteries, and it was so intense. So I don't know. But these last chapters, highlights.
yeah. These are good chapters. I think the cave might be my favorite.
Yeah, that was really good.
It's like a scary moment in these, but I still just remember reading that for the first time, being like on my couch. It was a pink couch, and right by this little fireplace that we had that warmed up the whole house. Ugly couch, but I remember sitting there reading it and just like devouring it, but I could not read fast enough, but I couldn't grasp anything. So I was like, took me like probably like 2 hours to read that chapter because I was so enmeshed by it. And it's still one of my favorite moments. I still love it for maybe those memories that it was when I first read it. And then maybe another favorite moment is just Quidditch. I love Quidditch in this book so much because it happens a lot. And they win the house cup, and this is when Ginny and Harry make out.
Hey.
They go for a long walk around the lake.
Walk.
Do you have a favorite moment? You want me to give you a favorite moment?
Yes, please.
The last golden day of peace that Harry can experience with Harry and Ron.
They all are
Or
together.
with Ron and
Oh,
Hermione.
but she liked Floor's thing with
yeah,
Bill.
yeah. That was great.
Oh, and Mrs.
Bill,
Weasley, like
Mrs.
there at the
Weasley,
end.
Floor, the wedding.
Oh, I did like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. My brain is asleep right now. I'm sorry, guys.
Last question, most important one. Hot tamale of this whole book.
Ginny.
Ginny was getting some hot tamale vibes.
Yeah.
It's true. But Flora was getting
I
hot
was
tamale
gonna say, I wanted to
vibes.
give it to Flora.
By
for
the end, I think she kind of earned it in this last bit.
She was pretty.
She was worthy of it at some
pretty
point.
hot.
I mean, she doesn't get it for the book, but
And even Tonks, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, that's true. Not
Hey,
Tonks is
we love a
runner-up.
sad girl, Tonks.
Yeah.
correction.
all right. Yeah.
Are you part werewolf?
There is a full moon out tonight. It's a blue moon. It's a rare
Oh, yeah.
rare
Really?
occurrence. It's a
What?
blue moon, yeah. It's not technically
that.
blue, but it's a blue moon because I think it happens more than a full moon
Once
has
in
to
a blue
happen.
moon?
No, yeah, a blue moon is
Really?
a full moon that happens 4 times in a quarter. So I think it's very rare that ever happens. I think it happens like once every few years.
and that's where the phrase came
That's where
from?
So it
the phrase
happens
comes from.
once
It happens once in a blue moon, yeah. So it's a blue moon outside right now. So when you walk outside in like a few minutes, probably like 20, 30 minutes, and you, no, I'm just kidding. We're not going to keep going on this podcast for 20, 30 minutes. Yeah.
I'm gonna lay down. And I'm just gonna sleep.
Anyway, on that excursion of blue moons. Any other hot tamales? Any other last little things?
Dumbledore was a hot tamale too, though.
Yeah, he kind of was a little hot tamale.
Especially
Ron was kind of a hot tamale.
with his girlfriend.
Yeah. Lav.
What was her name? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, the chain she got him.
Yeah.
That
Oof.
was so funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
And then Hermione and Ron's little.
I know.
She was a hot tamale too, Hermione.
Yeah.
It's true. Lots of hot tamales here.
Any last things that you guys want to add
Stay
before we finish off? We're taking a breather
Oh, whoa.
in between book.
And we're not
6
going to
and
watch
7.
the movies because
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed. I want to see the movie, even though I'll
There are
probably be annoyed
spoilers.
watching the movie.
Yeah. You will be.
I will be great. I don't want to see Dumbledore die.
Oof. Yeah, it's going to be intense. And
There
we'll
was
be
someone
yelling at
that I
Harry
wanted
even
to
more
see.
because he doesn't do anything.
But Snape will finally be his true self.
Snape will finally be his true self. And we can watch the movie with that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
See you guys in a month.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we'll be
Oh,
off for a
man.
month. So
Last
anybody,
book.
everyone that's watching on the stream, will be off for a month because Danny and Jen are getting married. These two.
Next Friday.
Woo!
So excited.
Next Friday is a wedding. Then they're off for 2 weeks for a honeymoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next Friday. That's
Oh
crazy.
my.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a breather in between their wedding, obviously, and their honeymoon. We're not gonna do the podcast while they're on their honeymoon. So when you guys come back, we'll start reading
He would.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Yeah.
He would chime in. with his little-
I can't wait to do book 7. It's sad that we're already on book 7, but it's also
That's
exciting that we're on
crazy.
7. I know.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
a
nuts how
year
fast this is
and
going.
some,
I know.
like a couple months.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's crazy.
July, right?
Yep.
Yep.
We thought we'd be done in January.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
2-3 chapters.
we're coming up to
at a
January.
time.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Do this podcast with. We're gonna start season 2 early, and then we're gonna just keep this podcast is gonna be a machine pretty soon.
I'm gonna do the
Got a
same
nice
thing.
setup.
Yeah, I know. So
Did you catch that?
you got a nice setup over here.
This camera, this
Yeah.
camera, this camera.
There you go. All right, but I think the stream is pretty much dying
just
because my
practicing.
internet connection is getting slower.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're gonna end. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Farewell.
Good night, guys.
Whatever camera it is.